What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 296. I am your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
Adam Vale.
What up, world? What's going on?
Brian Manjoma.
What up, what up, what up?
And joining us once again, Mr. Riku-san one, the only one.
What up, people? How's it going?
You already know. Riku, thank you for joining us. Again, for you guys who don't know, Riku is one of the founders of Throwdown, so when he says he wants to be on, he's on. No questions asked. And my man
Since
probably has a lot of things.
1986
you know?
Keeping it real.
Yeah. Yo, tonight's show, we got a crazy show. And again, as usual, Brett will show up when he shows up. Tonight we got a lot of stuff to cover, man. We're going to be talking about the whole Spider-Man being an Avengers thing, state of play, the DualShock 4 not working with every PS5 game, Xbox Live Gold, the whole Project xCloud not being on Apple situation. We got a lot of stuff to cover for you guys, But before we do, we want to, and this is something I'm going to start doing from now on, pimping the show beginning and top of the thing. And obviously, since there's a lot of changes we'll talk about, you're going to hear me say some different things here. So yeah, make sure you follow us on Twitch and Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and join our Discord. You can find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words, Throwdown Show. And you can visit throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. And as always, links are located in the description below. Man, again, we got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's get into it. We're on the road to 300 people. We're going to be reaching episode 300 of Throwdown and throw down your questions starting September 3rd. That's Throwdown. And then September 6th, throw down your questions. And we're going to be having a contest. As a matter of fact, the contest for episode 300 of Throwdown, I've been waiting for this one for like 2 years. I've been sitting on this specific question. It's going to be tough, And the winner will get a free game of their choosing, as long as it's a regular game, not a fucking special edition or nothing like that, We're also going to be having a very special guest. I don't want to announce it at the moment, but it's someone who's not only a friend of Throwdown, but whose star rose significantly this year. So he wanted to be... Okay, here's your only clue. We were going to have him on the episode with Danny Pena. Wink, wink. There's your clue. But he couldn't make it because that day there was a lot of stuff going on with PlayStation, I believe. And he was like, but I want to be on Throwdown. So I talked to him.
No.
Was it?
I told you.
It was the Xbox conference.
It was the Xbox conference. Again, I'm giving you guys some pretty obvious clues here who I'm talking about. He was very busy that day with the Xbox conference, but he was like, I want to be on Throwdown. Please let me know. So the instant I hit him up, he was like, hey, can you be on episode 300? No questions asked. He was like, yep, let's go. So that's going to be dope,
By the way, huge shout out to Piggy Dan 20 for subscribing to Twitch Prime. 6 months, man. Appreciate that.
Piggy Dan. Yo, by the way, Piggy Dan, man, we will answer your question, episode 300. That's all I'm going to say.
Is that the question we talked about earlier?
Yes, it is. We're going to keep that on the hush. Oh, hold on. Who just gave us some money right now, man? Damn, I missed that one.
Mad Gamer Incorporated is following us on Twitch.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. That's awesome. All right, so yes, as we talked about before, we've made the move over to Audio Boom. That's where our RSS is, and we're on a lot of places, like a ton of podcast places. And the drop-off was actually not as hard as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't that hard at all. So it's going to be good, and obviously we're going to keep growing.
It'll pick up, once everybody figures it out.
Yeah. So it's pretty dope. So, right now, here are just some of the places where we're available, but this is just literally half. We're on so many other places. It's crazy. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Castbox. We're on Deezer. We're on iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, Podchaser, Radio Public, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Google, all over the place, But one thing, and this is something this whole move was very eye-opening when it came to SoundCloud specifically, right? We've had our show on SoundCloud forever, right? But we knew most of our listens came from the RSS feed, right? Now that nobody's going to SoundCloud from the RSS feed, you know how many people are actually listening to us on SoundCloud directly? I'm not going to give that number, but it's less than 10. I'm like, wow, that's pretty eye-opening, especially since how much money we're paying for that. So I'm formally announcing that for this month, we're going to give you guys time to migrate over to one of the other places where we're available. Go to throwdown.com, right? Everything's going to be listed there. But after that, we're not going to be uploading to SoundCloud anymore. SoundCloud is still going to be up. We're not going to shut the site down or anything, because obviously past episodes and all that, but it doesn't make sense for us financially to keep that place open for literally less than 10 people. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the way it is. Kind of like sucky. I'm just being honest. Like, yo, we've been there for fucking years, and that's all it is, you know. But that's just how it is. But again, it makes sense, you know, because SoundCloud is not really a podcasting, you know, hosting place. It was just the means of us getting the MP3 out there. You know, it served its purpose, so it's fine. But time to move on. So hopefully you guys will join us too. But again, everything's gonna be fine for the next month up until 300. No problems there. But afterwards, you know, please subscribe to us somewhere else. Again, visit throwdownshow.com, which is actually our audio boom page, and it'll link you to, again, on the left-hand side, there's a bunch of places, man. Anywhere that there's a podcast, you can find Throwdown. Like, you cannot miss us, you know, which is pretty
Shout
dope.
out to Andre Tipton, who's in the chat.
Yo, my man Andre, we got to have him on soon, you know. Couple more things. And again, we got a lot of shit to talk about even before the show. I want to give us, you know, we talked about, I want to give a shout out to Danny Pena from Gamertag Radio, not only for, you know, helping us with this whole audio boom transition, but also because I was on the latest episode, or am on the latest episode of Gamertag Radio, where basically I'm interviewing him for an hour and a half about Xbox Game Pass and digital. It was supposed to be me. It was really supposed to be me giving my thoughts on things, but it turned into me interviewing him instead, which was pretty cool. And we were out in Bryant Park drinking and shit. A lot of fun, you know, so go check that episode out. It's episode 1077, I believe, of Gamertag Radio. Go to my Twitter. I link to it and everything. And also, I want to give another shout out to my former editor from Geek.com, Jordan Miner. Him and I actually recorded a quick little video for PC Mag where we gave our thoughts about State of Play and Sony's general direction. A lot of fun. It was just basically like the kind of conversation I would normally have with Jordan, just on a video. You know, kind of like what I do with you guys. Like what we do here on Throwdown is just the conversation we normally have, just recorded for the world, you know, which is pretty fun. And but the thing is, since it was like edited afterwards, like there's cool video footage running and stuff in the background. Good stuff, you know. And the last thing is Adam has an announcement to make.
Oh, yes.
I caught you off guard, didn't I?
I'm like, oh shit, what did I forget to think? Yeah. Oh yeah. So there was big news that I wound up getting some big news, and I was able to share this regarding Arcade 1UP. Now the new 2 cabinets that are coming, 2 of the new many cabinets. All right, let me just put this all together because there's a lot. That's right, you did catch me off guard. So 2 big cabinets that are coming out. There's a bunch of them, but the 2 major ones, X-Men versus Street Fighter and Marvel versus Capcom. That one is an exclusive to Best Buy. It has a few games that are different from the X-Men versus Street Fighter. But the big news is that both of them, they're going to have some online play. That is awesome. They're going to create this retro lobby system where you can add friends, and then you'll be able to play against randos and do that whole experience on your cabinets or on Arcade 1UP. Now, that feature is available right now on the NBA Jam cabinet that came out last month, and people are loving it. So it's great to see that they add that feature to the fighting games. But there's a bunch of other cabinets coming, a bunch of news going on, and we have so much content for it. So Tony and I talked about this before the show, and we're going to do a special. We're going to do a special just breakdown of all the cabinets that are coming out during this holiday season, all the features that they're going to have, or at least most of the stuff that we do know. But my rep's been hooking me up with some good content regarding all this. So I'm pretty confident that you guys are going to enjoy this. So that is the plan, and we're going to see if we can put that together tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be dope. So basically, there's quick thing. So yeah, Adam wanted to give you guys like the full rundown tonight, but then I thought about, I'm like, well, why don't we just do a separate video just to please the PR guy? And we're like, yeah, that's going to be dope. So yeah, look out for that. It's going to be cool. Yeah. It's going to be kind of in the style of our unboxings, where basically you have one guy who's doing the main presentation, and then you have another guy, me, asking a bunch of stupid questions. You know, so that'll be fun.
You say my questions are stupid?
Yeah. No, man, I was the one. I'm usually the one asking you stupid questions when you're unboxing. What are you talking about?
Okay, so you guys, if anybody just wants to read the announcement, you can head over to thecoalition.com. I put the announcement there. I have a nice little piece that I go into it. But yeah, we're going to go more in depth on all the other cabinets, because there's a bunch, Big Buck Hunter and a bunch of other ones that are coming this holiday time. So we will talk about that.
Yeah, we will definitely talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk, yeah. Oh man, Carlos, you're good. You're going to help out Brett, right? He's having some issues trying to get on.
Yeah, I'm trying to contact him on Discord. Or I'll text him if he doesn't.
All right, man. Without further ado, let's get into it, man. First story, the main topic of tonight's show. Spider-Man is going to be in Marvel's Avengers exclusively on PlayStation. This caused an uproar on Twitter, boy. People went fucking mad. And on top of that, the PlayStation versions, because there's going to be PS4 and PS5, they're going to have other exclusive content, So I want to get you guys' take on it, before I chime in with my stuff. Actually, you know what, Riku, since you're the guest, why don't you start us off, man? What are your thoughts on how this whole thing went down, man?
I honestly, I don't know why people are so angry when they know for a fact that Sony owns the rights. So like when it comes to Spider-Man being on there, which initially prior to this he wasn't going to be in the game, so now that he is in the game, you really expect Sony to fucking just give it away. They're anti-consumer. Oh yeah, I guess Bandai Namco's well, not even Bandai Namco. Well, Namco was anti-consumer back when Soul Calibur 2 came out, huh? But how about you guys Link on the PlayStation 2 version of Soul Calibur 2? I really wanted to play a Spawn on X, but he was only on Xbox. And that one is even more of a obviously Link belongs to Nintendo. He wouldn't be on other consoles. But when it comes to like Spawn, like that was that no anti-consumer back then. I mean, this is just a deal, people. People just need to. People just want to find stuff to complain about.
But I think people felt that because we know the whole scandal that happened in the movie universe, that would be avoided here. That maybe Square would have the rights to all those characters. I mean, it's about the Avengers.
Why?
He is part of the Avengers. So
yeah, and Spider-Man is the part of Sony.
Yeah, and they just assumed, at least for this part,
they assumed wrong.
Yeah, exactly. They did, but it sucks.
They definitely did. Like. I mean, it sucks if you don't have a PlayStation. That's what that's when it sucks.
No, it is true. It is true.
Yeah, so, my whole thing is, just jumping off what Riku said. Yeah, you're right. If you guys don't know who we were talking about, so back in the day, Soul Calibur 2, right? You had 3 versions of the game. You had one for PlayStation 2, you had an Xbox, the original Xbox One, and GameCube, right? So each one of them had a specific character that the other versions didn't have. PS2 had Heihachi from Tekken. Xbox had Spawn, Todd McFarlane Spawn, and the GameCube version had Link, right? Everybody was fine with that, and then suddenly this pops up. People are just like salivating, like they're frothing at the mouth. I could understand why you'd be upset, because obviously if you're an Xbox guy and a PC guy, you want to, and Spider-Man's your favorite character. You can't play as him. You don't have a PlayStation. That does suck. But again, this is nothing new. We've had exclusives since time immemorial when it comes to gaming. So yeah, go ahead, Riku.
Let me just say, let me just play a little small demon devil advocate when it comes to the whole Soul Calibur 2 example.
I already know where you're gonna go with this.
Yeah, well, we're going. Yeah. At least when it comes to that, each version had an exclusive thing. So it's like even though that version may have like Spawn, at least you have something that they don't have. When it comes to the Xbox and the PC version, they ain't getting no exclusive character. But I mean, that if at that point, go take it out with Square and Marvel, because they can obviously do something when it comes to that if they wanted to decide and give PC and Xbox their own little exclusive Marvel character.
Yeah,
there's a more recent example of this. I mean, Ubisoft did it with Starlink. So you had the PlayStation Xbox version of Starlink, no special content. You get the Switch version of Starlink, all of a sudden Star Fox is in there, and the whole team, and he has a story added on. So you had story missions, you got the R-Wing, you got the R-Wing toy that worked with that version of the game. Didn't work with the PlayStation version because it's not in there. Didn't work with the Xbox version either. So that nobody complained about that. Nobody's like, hey, I can't play Star Fox and Starlink on the PlayStation. Can't, because you're a Nintendo character.
Yeah. For you Marvel enthusiasts out there, I'm sure you can answer this for me. Wasn't there at one point during all of Marvel, whatever fucking universe you want to pull from, wasn't at one point Deadpool a part of Avengers?
Probably.
He did pop up. He did pop up for a little bit, but he wasn't official. But he did pop up. That was even in the game.
Oh, what am I talking about? Yes, he was. This isn't even like in some random universe. Like literally in the when they did the whole all new, all different Marvel, he was in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in Avengers. Yeah, one version of Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah, and as far as I know, Deadpool is not in this game, right?
Not that we know of. We don't know. We don't want to speculate. He could be.
But he's in the one on the Switch. Marvel Alliance, they have
Marvel Alliance.
Yeah, but they play that story that he's part of the group.
That's true, and that's another thing you got to take into consideration if we want to stay on Marvel Avengers related shit. a lot of people, we know where Marvel Ultimate Alliance originated. That was originally a multi-platform game, right?
Yeah.
But this comes out and it's only on Switch, only on Nintendo. And to be honest, I heard a small amount of people complaining that they couldn't play Marvel Alliance on their PlayStations, but we got over it. To be honest, it was quiet.
I need to add this since we're talking about Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'm really glad you say this, right? Marvel Ultimate Alliance on Xbox had 8 exclusive characters that no other system did, including guys.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah, including little known people like Hulk. Where was the beef back then? Where was the beef back then? You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, my
point
is,
that energy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This has been going on forever. This is just the way it is. People complaining about it. And I'm going to say right now, I'm going to sound like an asshole. Don't care. If Spider-Man is that important to you, you could buy a PlayStation for less than $200. Yeah. If he's that important to you, right? And here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to go off right now. Manny, you already know where I'm going.
Bro,
with
let me just hop off.
Riku, get it out there because I got to go off. I got to go off.
I was going to say just adding
before you go off.
Okay, who's going to go first?
No, let me go first. It's only
for you guys. For you, this is for you guys to go first. But before you go off, do you think it's possible at any point that he could be DLC, paid DLC? You think Sony would do that to make some bucks?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay, that goes.
Maybe on the PC version, but not definitely.
Maybe on PC, but yeah, no, they're keeping that dude locked. Anyway, we could go ahead because I gotta go off right now, man.
Yeah, in regards to what you were saying, if your last statement about if you want Spider-Man, if you care about Spider-Man that much, then you just go grab a PlayStation. That is true when it comes to literally everything that had to do with Spider-Man this entire generation.
That's right.
If you want Spider-Man. If you like Spider-Man that much, why don't you have a PlayStation at this point? Because you literally just missed out on the best Spider-Man game ever, 2 years ago. But now you're complaining about Spider-Man here. Like, I'm calling you out. You ain't no Spider-Man fan if you ain't got no damn PlayStation.
Damn!
That's what I was saying. You ain't no Spider-Man fan if you ain't got no PlayStation.
Yeah.
Right, so let's say they're not right. They're not a big fan, but they were interested in this game just because it's the Avengers. I'm like, oh, that's cool, all the characters. So then it's more of a trigger. Like, wait a minute, why is he not there? Maybe they don't really give a shit. They want the whole experience though. That's all.
Yeah, shout out to Piggy Dan. He said, "Damn, too." Hey, Brett showed up. Right. There he is.
Fucking somehow got kicked out of the Batcave.
Yeah, fucking Discord, man. Anyway, so
I
gotta go off. I gotta go off, man. Okay,
alrighty.
Because here's what I find funny, right? Ever since this game was announced, right, everybody's been shitting on it. This game looks stupid. This game looks whack. The graphics look stupid. This looks dumb. It's just another looter game. Last week, no one gave a flying fuck about this game, right? Now suddenly it's the #1 best-selling game on fucking Amazon for both systems. Now suddenly everybody wants the game. Ain't that about a bitch? And here's what I find.
Everybody just
go ahead.
other things to play.
Yeah, no, but
what do you think? That Ghost game that you like playing.
The game may come until next month, but I just find it funny. Everybody now suddenly wants this game that they shitted on for a whole year, right? And what's funny is because they're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna boycott this game. Fuck this game. I'm boycotting this shit." Word, because it's the #1 best-selling, hottest-selling game on Xbox at the moment, right? And by the way, Rico, I don't know if you saw some of these comments, bro. Hilarious. I saw shit and I am not making this up, people. I swear to Zeus, I am not making this shit up. You had dudes going, "Oh, I wasn't planning on buying this game anyway, but now I'm really not gonna buy it."
I hate that comment.
Or my personal favorite. My personal favorite, Adam. You're gonna love this one. Oh, I'm so against this game. Even if it comes on Game Pass, I'll never play it.
That's dumb. And
get out of here with that. Get out of here with that.
What do you gain from doing that?
Honestly,
I tell people like, yeah, that game doesn't look for me, or that game looks horrible and poorly made, but not like, well, I'm just not gonna fucking play this out of pure protest. And hey, like, why the fuck do I care if you play an Xbox game, especially if it's free? Like, why the fuck would I care if you played a PlayStation Plus game? I don't give a shit. There's no bearing on me.
Yeah,
go ahead,
makes no sense.
don't play it. It's fine.
Yeah, and then of course, our favorite saying, Riku, It's anti-consumer. This anti-consumer.
Oh, it's anti-consumer. It's anti-consumer.
They're holding
Jesus.
Spider-Man hostage.
Oh my god, the word anti-consumer has been spammed so fucking much this generation. The next person I hear that is screaming at the top of their lungs anti-consumer, I just want to choke them out.
Oh man, Manny, what are your thoughts on all this?
Again, I mean, exactly. You said exactly that. It's like all of it. Remember all that talk about the generic-looking Gennaro Avengers, all that other stuff. It was absolutely no heat on this whole shit. The minute they start talking about Spider-Man, everybody goes nuts.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Like I mean, to be honest, in general, like I don't know. I'm gonna ask the question. It's like I still feel the same about this game. This game just doesn't look like something I want to play. Like you look at every single time they show it, it's fucking jittering and all kinds of shit all over the goddamn place. So it's like, what is like? And then the other sneaky thing they don't talk about, which is not on the forefront, they keep talking about the story mode, but about essentially the online mode.
Yeah. Actually, a little bit of a segue there, right? You're talking about the online mode. I actually got to play some of it this weekend. I got to play, a good like 3. By the way, I played the same beta you guys are about to get tomorrow if you pre-order on PlayStation, and you get a couple of story modes. You get online mode, but online mode it's not like here's an online mode you all fight each other. It's all co-op, which is good. Yeah. That's a good thing. It didn't work too well because I'm just being honest right now. It was a gaming journalist, open beta, so nobody participated, and it happens all the time, man.
I do have to say, giving an open beta after somebody has already committed money to the game is fucking bullshit.
Well, this is a closed beta,
No, that's what I'm saying. If you pre-ordered, you get beta, right? That's what you just said?
Yeah, for customers. Yeah, the beta is by the time you guys are listening, you could access it right now. Yeah.
If you pay for it.
Yeah, but think about it. Pre-order is like what, $5?
But you don't get, if let's say you do the digital one, I don't think you get a refund. So it's not like, I could just try it out. You know what? I played this beta. This is whack. I want my money. I'm canceling my pre-order.
That's a good point.
You can't cancel.
Yeah, Brett, remember last gen, people used to do that. You go to GameStop, they'll pre-order a game for $5, try the beta, and then fucking never buy this shit. But I don't think you can get away with that now.
Transfer your money otherwise. Well, you could go in and be like, I don't want this game. I've heard bad shit about it. I want to transfer my money over to this other game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that's why I didn't really worry about having to pre-order from a place like GameStop or something like that. That was one of the few benefits, is they'd be like, I'll just put it on this other game, whatever.
Yeah.
If you pre-ordered a game and literally just never came and picked it up, they'd put that money towards another game. Like, it made things easy, but just the idea of, we're not going to let you play the game until you've committed money to it. It's like, so you want to buy this game? It's like, I don't know, let me play it. Well,
by the way, to be fair, there will be an open beta. You don't have to pre-order anything 2 weeks from now. Just getting that out there,
Okay, that is better.
Wait,
yeah.
There you go.
This beta is for people that pre-order who want the game, but if you're still on the fence, you could wait 2 weeks, August 21st, and you play it for free. Everybody's Xbox, PlayStation, PC, everybody's invited to that for free, so just keep that in mind.
That does make me feel better. I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
So,
well, now
still a little bullshit with the time thing, but forgivable.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Brett, did you catch some of that the controversy on your end? Did you see any of it?
No, about me?
No, not you. There always is controversy about you. I'm talking about the whole Spider-Man not being on Xbox and PC version of the Avengers. Have you seen anything on Reddit or anything?
Man.
That is kind of bullshit. That's Sony pulling a low blow. I can understand why people are getting upset about it, but I mean, I don't understand, like, in principle, but I think most people are getting upset about it on principle. Of the people who play this, the number of people who are like, damn it, not having Spider-Man in this is a fucking deal breaker, because I'm pretty sure we didn't think we were gonna get Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right. So
like one of them, like, somebody else gets bonus content, somebody else gets a corner piece of cake, so I'm not gonna have a fucking slice of cake just to spite you. Like, the fuck is that even? How does that make sense? How is that fair or feasible? And how does that help you in any way? Look, Spider-Man is owned by Sony. They made a game on it, and they fucking killed it. Pick something else. Make another game. Like it's not just that it's Spider-Man. It was that it was, I don't know, a good game too. Ugh. And it's not even that it was just a fucking good game. It wasn't even a strong IP. Ghost of Tsushima came out. It's fucking killing it. First brand new IP. It was made by Sony, but brand new IP. Nothing to really go on other than people like samurai games, and Sucker Punch made it. The game is fucking killing it. And it's not killing it just because like everybody pre-ordered. Yeah, there was a lot of people excited about the pre-order because it showed a good thing. But like I've at least from what I've seen and heard, like people are buying it now that a couple weeks later because their friends are all like, this game is fucking awesome. Word of mouth is making this not just a successful game but a slow burn game.
Shit, it made people that hated friggin' samurai games fucking love this shit.
Right?
Like so, Mag number 3.
I was actually surprised, Tony, who isn't really into like that whole era.
I don't want to say his name.
By the way, I love when I love when I say I don't like something, it gets translated to I hate it. This is the second time in like 2 weeks it happened.
No, I didn't. Did I say hate?
No, Carlos said hate.
No. Did I say have no preference for?
Carlos didn't say any names now. He didn't say any names.
He's not saying dislike. He's saying don't like.
He was talking about hypothetical man, Riku.
Hypothetical man number 3.
Yeah, that dude Tony, the dude Carlos in the background, he in the shadows.
Yeah,
man.
Slick motherfucker, man.
Slick motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bray. Go on, man.
Oh shit! I totally forgot. What
doesn't fucking matter.
It's all right. We took that. We tackled that train of thought. That was my.
You took us down a rabbit hole, Brett. Talking about Suicide. You talking about Spider-Man.
No, hold on. I remember where I was going. My point was, you can start and make a good IP with nothing. It's not like you have to have, a franchise that's known, or a book series that it's known that it's based off of, or a huge amount of fucking hype or anything like that. Like, you just make a solid game, and people will flock to it. The idea of people buying a game because Spider-Man is in it, it's like being like, oh, I only wear underwear with Spider-Man on it. Like, what the fuck? Nobody cares that much. And so the people that are standing up and bitching, I don't know why they're like, it has to be just on principle. And if it's one of those things, I'm mad because it's bonus content that I'm not getting, and that's anti-consumer, therefore I boycott the game. All right, well, were you gonna buy it? Because it doesn't seem like you were gonna buy it. And if not, then maybe you're better not in the fan base. Like, it's the only news about this is that it's controversial to other people. I'm like, why is this even a thing? How pedantic can we get?
Yeah, it's silly.
It's not even DLC. It's not even content. It's a character.
Yeah, literally a character. It's gonna have
how dare
no
you not put a
bearing.
character that you own on somebody else's system? Well, that's their fucking prerogative. Well, I don't see fucking Master Chief on Sony.
Well, Brett, I don't know do they own the video game rights of Spider-Man?
They
Sony?
do.
Yeah,
Sony?
they have the exclusive rights for Spider-Man.
Like we know they have it for film, but I don't know if it was.
And
No,
video.
I think it's only TV and comic
And for
rights
underwear.
with Marvel.
For
Oh,
underwear.
really?
Well, no, yeah, Sony does not make money off of merchandise.
Yeah,
That's all
but
Disney.
the Spider-Man game is a different sort of deal.
Yeah, no, film and video game depictions of Spider-Man are under Sony, and any character in the Spider-Man universe, right? So,
Right.
Black Cat, Venom, all those characters.
Yeah, so I just find it ironic that this game. I mean, I didn't see a lot of people hype for it. I mean, obviously it's an Avengers game, so it's gonna have some traction. But this game, this game's hype has exponentially grew because of this whole controversy.
That's right. Yeah, like I said earlier, no one gave a shit about this game until now. I remember I did a preview of it last year for Comic-Con. I was like, I don't know about this, bruh. I'm talking about playing this shit.
Well, didn't it have like some huge amount of downvotes on YouTube? Remember when?
Yes, because the character models, nobody liked it.
It looked terrible.
Again,
so what was so different? I didn't see anything different.
No, there is nothing different. People were just mad about Spider-Man. They want that Spider-Man. And going back to what Riku said, yes, I think it would have been a lot better if the Xbox version got Wolverine or something. Like
like Deadpool.
Yeah, somebody that would have been great. You know, because I don't give a fuck. You know,
and like I said, if that's the case, then they need to be taking that out with Square and Marvel, because Sony ain't got nothing to do with that. You know,
all I'm saying
Sony. I don't know what went down in the background, but you would assume that Sony was like, hey, for our version, how about you put in, you know, the character that we own, Spider-Man, in the game? You would assume something like that to some degree went around in the background. So if that was the case, you would have to, you know, assume that maybe Microsoft could have went to Square and Marvel and been like, hey, could you do the same thing for us? You know, you got a bunch of characters to throw like a Deadpool in there for our system. Nothing like that is happening.
At the end of the day, even though exclusive content or exclusive games are, you know, dwindling down as compared to what they were in the day, at the end of the day, Xbox is still going to get Hellblade 2, and PlayStation isn't. Nintendo is going to get Mario, and PlayStation isn't. PC gamers are going to get the shitty port of Horizon Zero Dawn and PS.
Are we going to talk about that?
Whoa.
None of us have played it, so I don't want to comment on that. But I did hear that. That's kind of interesting how, you know, you have Hideo Kojima, right? He, you know, his Decima Engine game runs fine. Then their Decima Engine game, not so much, but, you know, we're not getting into that right now. Anyway, any last thoughts on this whole Spider-Man brouhaha? Take that.
It's a bunch of brouhaha.
Yeah, it's brouhaha. All right, let's move on.
It just shows the power of Spider-Man, though. It just shows the power for Spider-Man as a brand.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You guys need to calm down in the fucking chat, man.
That's the only thing I can think of. Spider-Man. As it did before. It's just the announcement of Spider-Man that's really causing the buzz.
Spider-Man. Yeah, because again, no one gave a fuck about this game.
No.
You know? It's crazy. All right, man. So next up, we're gonna give a rundown of State of Play. There was a State of Play. By the way, here's the thing. Thank you to Sony for flat out saying, "Hey, we're not gonna have any PS5 announcements. Don't expect that." But at the same time, there was no point. There was no point having this shit. This was fucking boring.
It was pretty.
It was whack. You know. But anyway, we're gonna go down. You know, we're gonna run down everything they had as we always do. So let's start off with Crash Bandicoot 4.
Before you jump in, I just want to say how.
Bro, you sound shitty right now, bro.
Respect. Is that better?
Yeah, this is a little better. So the crickets, the Throwdown crickets is back. Let's go.
Real loud.
Okay. How do we get to a point where people are thanking Sony for telling us there's not going to be any news?
Oh, I'm going to tell you why. Because, you know, and I know why Sony did this. I know why Sony did this. Because
Nintendo fans are crazy.
Oh, my. Chris, can you give a quick breakdown, you know, explain to people what you're talking about?
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, Nintendo had a Direct Mini, right? So, you know how the Directs work. The Mini ones are for indie titles, right? That's their showcase for indie stuff that it's either from Steam or whatever. People all of a sudden started wish casting the craziest stuff. People started putting up on Twitter that, oh, there's going to be Breath of the Wild news. People said there was going to be Metroid Prime 4 news. People started building up this shit to be like, you know, E3 just for Nintendo. It's a mini thing. It's not even half an hour, and they had all these expectations, and none of them were shown. None of those things happened, and people lost their minds. They were so angry, and I'm like, you made this up in your head. That this is why Sony was like, let's be careful. Let's just say no major PS5 announcements. That's all they said. Listen, we're setting expectations. You know that you have to do that now because these guys start hyping things up. Imagine. Sony didn't say anything. We're just going to have a State of Play. All of a sudden, people will be saying, oh, okay, we're going to see Miles Morales. We're going to see God of War 2. We're going to see people start making shit up in their heads, right? And then they expect to see it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. And to a lesser extent, Xbox had to do a mea culpa too, right? Aaron Greenberg after their third party event, because they were hyping that shit up for like a month. Yo, we're gonna show some hot shit. We're gonna show some hot shit. And then they came out. People were kind of they weren't like frothing at the mouth like the Nintendo fans were, but people were pretty annoyed. And then Aaron Greenberg had to come out and apologize. Like, okay, guys, we should have set more realistic expectations. I think that's what happened with Sony. But at the same time, as soon as they said that, I was like, the hell's the point of this shit? Ghost of Tsushima, as far as I'm concerned, that's the swan song. So anything after that, PS4, this shit don't matter, you know. But you know, here we are. So let's break down what this show. So yeah, like I said, they had Crash Bandicoot 4. You know, if you're into Crash Bandicoot, there you go.
Yeah, but it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. Riku, you got something to say about Crash?
That is the only Naughty Dog franchise that I haven't really dived into. I never played a Crash game, and I don't want to say I never will. I do want to hop into Crash eventually, And when I did see the gameplay for Crash 4, it did look fun. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the distant future I, go through the trilogy that came out a few years back, the remake, and then hop into this one. I fucks heavy with Toys for Bob. I think they are a phenomenal company when it comes to, remaking these games, and I hope they do more in the future.
Yeah, and this is a new game. This isn't even a remake.
Yeah, this is a sequel to Crash.
I'm just saying them as a company. Prior to this, they were, majority of the stuff that they were well respected for was, remakes. So
kind of like Blue Point.
Yeah. I would just love for them to do more of that, but I do respect them for what they showed. This is them from the ground up. So this is all them. This is cool too.
Yeah. All right. So you got Crash 4, and then after that they showed Hitman 3, which we talked about before. But this one they introduced a VR mode, so I guess you could play the entire game in VR. Stealth game in VR kind of sounds interesting if you're into that.
I thought also that they were showing off that it was in first person.
Yeah, well, it said VR,
But that's only available in VR, the first person mode.
Well, think about it. If it's VR, it's going to be first person automatically.
But I mean, it just, I don't know. I just thought that was something new that we're going to introduce.
Well, it is new. It's VR mode. That is new.
But that's VR. That's you need a whole other peripheral for that.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point.
I don't know if they're. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Because you kept cutting me off. What happened? I'm like, I'm trying to talk. So I don't know if it's going to be first person because Resident Evil had that thing, but that was a first person game. So I don't know. Brett might be like the one that knows, but have they ever done like PlayStation VR game where it's normally a third person game, but the VR mode isn't first person? Because I can't think of one.
It's a good question.
I think it's usually a game that's in first.
Switching it, basically, like switching. Like, let's say if it was just third person, but then when it went from VR, they switched it to.
Yeah, because we know for a fact Hitman 3 is a third person game.
Third person game. That's why I thought this was going to be a mode, sort of like what we saw in Fallout, where you can switch from third to first.
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought the way when they zoomed in to his head, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That changes this.
Yeah, but I don't want to speculate on what it could be.
I know.
So yeah, there you go. Hitman. After that, this one was a little bit of a nice little surprise. Braid Anniversary Edition. What they're doing with this one is they completely redid the whole game. HD textures. They made the world look more painted looking and stuff.
They literally like dumped all the sprites and just literally repainted everything. So it's all like HD and stuff, and it kind of like looks like it's being painted. Like the strokes move and stuff around.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
One of the best puzzle games of last generation.
Yeah, that was a really good one. One of the first like indie games I played, I think. Good stuff.
Really good.
There was this other game called The Pathless. It's made by the same people who made Abzu. Kind of has that art style. It's like a archery type of game. What'd you guys think of it?
I mean, it was interesting. It was a kind of a long demo though.
Yeah. It kind of had a little bit of a journey feel too, in a little bit of a way, the way you slid around.
Yeah. I was definitely getting that vibe from it.
Yeah.
It looked pretty interesting. The art style looked pretty crazy. The colors were popping.
Yeah, they were literally.
Yeah. So I'll try that out. Looks pretty good.
Looks interesting. Riku, here's your favorite game of the whole thing, man. Spelunky 2.
Let's fucking go, baby. Splunky. Y'all don't know how much of a heavy fan of Splunky I am. I'm also a fan of Splunker. The OG one. Yeah, man. Yo, the thing I like about the fact with Splunky 2 is the fact that we're getting online multiplayer. That was one thing in Splunky 1 that I really, really, really wanted, because I think out of all of the local multiplayer games that have come out this entire generation, Splunky is my number one. Anytime I have friends over, which ain't that often, but when I do have them over and they're like, "Oh, you got a PlayStation? What can we all play?" If someone came to your house right now and they, 4 people, and let's just, also assume that you have 4 controllers, and they're like, "Oh, you have a PlayStation? What can we all play?" What game would you pull out right now?
Street Fighter 5.
Or
Spider
probably,
for all 4 people to play, right
No,
there.
we do like
probably
we
play
do it like we
wrestling
used to do, right? You have 2
sport
guys
game.
playing. The loser, taps out. Another guy jumps in, and we keep it going in a circle.
What game do you?
Huh?
Go ahead.
No, I said fighting
continue,
games. That's the staple. You got motherfuckers over. We're putting in some fighting games.
Okay. Do you have any games that all 4 people can play at the same time?
Probably not.
For me,
I do.
go ahead.
I have a few.
Okay, go ahead. What
Wrestling
some
games,
wrestling
sport
games?
games.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
yo, back in the day, that was my
That's it.
shit. Yo, it was definitely the SmackDown versus
Yeah.
Raw, games. That would be my game. Like when people came over, that was the game I was popping in. We were all playing. For this
PlayStation
generation,
All Stars Battle
Royal
Royale.
Rumbles and stuff.
what did you say, Carlos?
PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
That was actually last gen. I actually did like one time. Friends came over, we all played. I had fun. But this generation, it was definitely Spelunky and Towerfall. Those 2 games in particular. When people came over and they're like, yeah, Towerfall, like 4-player. That shit was fun.
I
As
had that on my Ouya.
Yeah, and I I would tell my friends online, they're like, "Yo, Spelunky's so much fun." They would play it and they'd be like, "Damn, those levels in Spelunky are hard as fucking shit." So it would have been awesome to play that online with friends because people locally, it's friends and family, they don't really play games that much. So if I tried to take them into the co-op single player, which was, as far as I remember, that was 4-player co-op single player. 4-player co-op campaign as well. They're not skilled enough to get too far, so I never really did get that far playing with my local friends. But I know my online friends, they probably would have gotten a lot further into the campaign if that game had online, which it didn't. This one does, so I was hyped for Spelunky too. That made this entire conference for me. Can't wait for that fucking game.
And Riku, to answer your question,
Yes.
Smash Brothers Ultimate or Magicka 2?
Okay, cool. Magicka, that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
Shout out to Just Dance.
Yeah, right. I don't think I have any 4-player games.
Yeah, they're a rare breed.
We used to have them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because local multiplayer back in the day.
Yeah.
That was one of the sellers, man.
But yeah, Spelunky 2. I played the like maybe 15 minutes of the first one. That shut that shit off. Fucking boring. Like I can't.
Yeah,
I can't,
playing it by yourself. I can agree.
I can't stand roguelikes. Roguelikes are annoying as shit. I can't stand those games. So, and that's a roguelike too. Forget it. I'm glad you're happy. When I saw it, Riku was probably hyped as fuck right now. But
Tony, if there's anything Spelunky you should ever try the 4-player competitive free for all. That shit is fun as fuck. Because I know
I like it though, Riku.
Oh no, yeah, you will. I think everyone I've seen play that shit, they like it as a competitive little multiplayer game that you could just pop right in and play. But if you ask them if there's anything else they like about Spelunky, they're like, no, not really. So yeah, it's like a completely different game when you play it competitively.
Interesting. All right, so yeah, we had that, and then we had this other game called Genshin Impact. Rick, I'm looking right at you because that's an anime game.
Oh, that's an online multiplayer one. That one.
Oh, Genshin. Okay,
Genshin Impact has online multiplayer. Really?
Yeah.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah, Manny, go ahead. You tell us about Genshin Impact.
I actually I thought it was interesting looking because it was it was a kind of a anime styled looking thing. So I looked into it, and yeah, it's a free to play massive multiplayer online game.
Really, I don't remember hearing that it was in that genre, but what I did remember hearing about Genshin Impact when it first came out was the fact that the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild fans were not fucking happy with that game.
Oh yeah,
they were boycotting. They were. I remember when I heard that when the game showcased at its booth at whatever convention that was, there was like a mob of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild fans with signs that said, "This is a Breath of the Wild." Cologne.
Yo, what is up with Nintendo fans, man?
Nintendo
Seriously,
fans are crazy.
They're fucking.
They were apparently harassing the booth and the people there who.
No, I saw that. Yeah,
right. And I was just like, what the fuck? Just let these people live. First of all, these people are just here to advertise the game. They didn't even make the fucking game. Why are you mad at them?
Wow, Nintendo fans, man.
Secondly, it's just like, bro, if a game took. Even if the game did or didn't, if they did take inspiration from Legend of Zelda, first of all, as fans of Legend of Zelda, you should be, what's the word I'm looking for?
You should be proud of
Flattered.
that.
Yeah,
Flattered,
you should
yeah.
be flattered that another company took inspiration from your game and made a game off of that. And as a Legend of Zelda fan, if you have PlayStation, because I can't remember if it's coming to Nintendo Switch or not, even if it is, you should look at it as a game that, oh look, this is another game like the game that I love, so I'm gonna play. Like I remember when I first saw fucking what's that game? That was, people called it, it was basically a God of War clone that came out on the PS4.
Oh, Dante's Inferno.
Dante's Inferno.
Dante's Inferno. When I first saw Dante's Inferno, the first thing that popped in my head was, oh, this is literally like God of War. I want to play it. It looks fun. And I did, and I moved to fuck on. I wasn't like, oh, how dare they? They should all burn in hell. Like, no. Like, what's wrong with these guys?
Burn in hell.
Yeah, like that's literally how they were acting. And I was just
Or
like, you guys are just showcasing the ugly side once again. But Genshin Impact looks interesting. I might try it. I know they have a demo that's out on the PlayStation Store right now. I should download it and try it out. It's cool we got to see more of it because it's actually been quite a minute since we've heard some things. So looks nice.
All right. Anybody else want to say anything about it? Go ahead, Brian.
To answer your question, yeah, it's coming out for Switch, and
Cool.
also it's coming out for Android and iOS.
So what are these
nice,
dudes
nice.
beefing about then?
Like I
they
said,
were
they're
just
literally
flipping out.
just mad at its existence. Not even mad
Yeah.
that it's because it's obviously on the console. So it's not like they only.
Why
put
are
it
these
on-
guys going to be mad if this game's better than Zelda? Is that what they're mad about?
Well,
They-
yeah,
I
they
think
were
I-
insecure. I saw them.
Yeah.
I saw guys coming to the booth with their Switches, running Breath of the Wild, and yelling at the guys at the booth. I'm like, what is
Oh my
wrong with you?
God.
Well, no,
Nintendo
there was that other one.
Nintendo gives you motherfuckers the ability to carry your Nintendo Switch portably on the go, and this is what you do with it. This is why we can't have nice things, people.
What was remember there was that
Nintendo
one
fans,
that
man.
was-
Go ahead,
that
Adam.
played like
Oh my god, ridiculous.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
I'm trying to remember. There was that one Zelda type clone that was very popular on iPad and Android and all those. You know it? And it ported over to Switch. It was on all those. I think iPad, but I definitely know for Android on the phones, and it was very popular. And everyone was like, "Oh, this is a
It
clone."
had Blade on the title, didn't it?
Was it? It was something, but it looked just like one of the old school Zelda games. Anyway, it was a huge deal when it made it over to the Switch. And they were like, why is it here? We have all the Zelda games. Why are you putting these clones? And people were hating on it. But it was a very good game. And it's
It wasn't 3D.com.
do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
If we
no.
just-
He said it's a Switch game. 3D Game Heroes. That's very much in the vein of a Zelda game. But nobody. But again, nobody
No, it
said anything.
That's
They
crazy.
ported to Switch. They ported. I'm going to type in Zelda clone. It always comes up as the first one.
All right. Oh, by the way, I want to give a quick shout out to Piggy Dan. He says those idiots do not represent the majority of us fans. Piggy Dan, for you guys who don't know, he's Throwdown fan, obviously, but he's also a very big Nintendo fan. He's always asking us to talk about it more about Nintendo. And no, Piggy Dan, we are not talking about you or Nintendo fans like you. We're talking about those crazy motherfuckers.
Yeah,
obviously.
and and in regards to that, we understand that that's not the majority of Nintendo fans, but it cannot be debated that they are definitely the loudest.
Yes.
In regards to the Nintendo fans,
I
And
would say
sadly,
that's the
they are-
worst. That's the worst of the super fanboys
Yeah.
out there. You know.
I
Yeah,
don't
sadly,
understand.
they are the ones that are making the majority of them look bad. But that's most of the time that's the case with like a lot of fan bases. The super loud ones are most of the times the smallest of the bunch.
Yeah. By the
These
way,
guys are
yeah, I want to
Every
take.
fan base.
Yeah, no, every fan base, but certain fan bases are. We're not talking about fan bases. We're talking about the hardcore, extreme fan bases. They
Yeah,
are
that's
the
every fan
worst.
base.
You know,
Like-
they are the worst. And you know what? Let's just take the time, Chris. Can you please regale us with the story about what Nintendo fans did to you?
Oh, you you mean
With the coalition and their article.
the early articles? Yeah, I wrote two articles early on in the coalition. I wrote an op-ed where I lambasted their decision to go mobile, and I said it was a mistake. And I said working with DNA was a mistake because you're not going to get quality games. And I wrote another article on. I debunked the myth of the Nintendo lasting like 30 years or whatever without making profits.
Yeah.
And Rich told me that they wrote to him and fans were angry and demanding I be fired
From the coalition, mind you. Yeah.
right? Yeah, for and that I needed to write an apology to Nintendo for saying such things. I couldn't stop laughing because it's like that is ridiculous. I gotta apologize to a company because I'm making an observation and writing about it. It's like Jesus.
Oh, Chris,
they're fucking nuts.
real quick, didn't Nintendo end? They stopped doing mobile games, didn't they?
Yes, they've ended their partnership with DNA, but this is exactly what I talked about in that article years ago.
Yeah. Isn't it ironic, you know? Anyway, let's move on to some other games here. So the next game I have on the list here is it's like a beat 'em up side scrolling game called Aeon Must Die. Kind of cool art style, you know?
It looks really nice, but there's a controversy behind that game.
Oh.
Not far after this trailer was released, apparently they were not paying their developers.
Oh.
And they all walked right before this trailer came out.
That's serious.
Damn.
And the trailer was outsourced to another company.
Wow.
So there's some serious shit. Like if you like, I was looking. I'm like, hey, yeah, this looks cool. So I did a research. I went to their website, and there wasn't really that much information on their website. I went over to their Twitter page, and it looked like their Twitter page had gotten taken over. It said null on it, and it had like this Dropbox link to a bunch of stuff that was to a bunch of stuff. And apparently, it was also retweeting a bunch of things that a bunch of the devs were writing about the things like, hey, you stopped doing this, blah blah blah. You're having so much trouble. We haven't gotten money. We haven't gotten paid. So, yeah,
that sounds like a mess. One. God damn.
Yeah, that's a pretty big mess.
That's crazy.
Oh, and just to go back, I found it. Oceanhorn. That was the game that everyone freaked out. If you look that up, Oceanhorn, that was the big, oh wow, this is Zelda-like. This is a big one for all the other platforms. And then they got ported to Switch.
Oceanhorn?
Yeah, Oceanhorn. Look that up. You'll see.
But
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And it looks and feels like the old school Zelda games.
Oh yeah, they definitely
did. Why did they port this over? Why did they let this on in the store? Come on, we have Zelda.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, those dudes are on some other level, man. All right, so yeah, there's Aeon Must Die. Manny, is the game even coming out now? Like, what's happening?
I have no idea.
Wow.
It said on the thing. It says 2021.
Jesus, yeah, 2021. That's right. We'll see.
Yeah, and I'll have a look at the gameplay, and it doesn't seem like to be like a side-scrolling game. It seems to be more in the vein of is it? Oh, what's that? God damn, what's that game?
It's isometric.
Darkness. No, it's not isometric. It's Brett. What's that one game that's like Dark Souls in that it gives you like dread and all sorts, and it's turn-based? Dungeon something.
Darkest Dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon. Yeah, it's like Darkest Dungeon. So it's like a weird.
Downloaded that on my Vita yesterday, baby. Sorry.
It's like a turn-based type game because I noticed that there were guys in the background that just stood there while he's pummeling like the main dude.
Interesting.
So it's like, like Darkest Dungeon.
All right, there you go.
I'll be trying to get that platinum, by the way.
That's why I like having.
I mean, in fairness, it does look like a huge ripoff of Zelda games.
Which one? Aeon Must Die?
Not Aeon Must Die. The one that
Oceanhorn. Okay.
But you see, but that's what I'm saying. That was.
Yeah.
I mean, there's borrowing from. And then there's like blatant ripoff, like the character looks like Link from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I posted in chat so you could see.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm like, man, like, okay, there's the bomb for the Super Nintendo version. Wow, that boat looks a lot like Wind Waker. Like, it's not inspired by, it's liberally stealing from. So I can understand why people would be pissy, but just let the
what the fuck? Man. Yeah. What's the name of it? Oceanhorn?
Yeah, I just posted in the chat.
There's two of them. There's two of them apparently. There's an Oceanhorn too. All right, hey, listen. I guess that's the fucking the budget version. I guess. Where the hell are we right now? So this other game, I'm probably gonna butcher this name. Anno Mutationen.
Yeah.
Was that a game or?
I don't even fucking remember that shit.
It sounds like a medicine.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I gotta take that Mutationen. I got the bumps on my wikis.
All right, you know what? Since everybody forgot about this shit, we can skip it.
No, we didn't say it.
I want to talk about it because I
Oh,
thought it looked,
Oh damn, Brian,
oh.
save us and pronounce the name of this shit.
it looked interesting. Like it looked interesting because at first I was like, oh, so there's chicks just running around to the world. It's like, okay, what's the game like? And it seems like it's kind of, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting game names now. It's like Guacamelee. It seemed like that. So that okay, that seems interesting. Like a side-scrolling
side-scroll
type game.
wrestler running around with a mask.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, okay, this seems cool. Seems again looks interesting. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, I did like that game. Guacamelee, I meant. I played that.
Yeah, Guacamelee was fun.
All right, so there you go with that game. I don't have it listed here. Oh no, I do have it. Never mind. I'm skipping ahead. Then we had the greatest game of all time, Bug Snacks. Another trailer.
a little bit more Bug Snacks.
Yeah,
That is the knack of next generation.
it really is.
It reminded me of like Sesame Street or something. The way the characters move and talk and stuff. They're like Muppets.
Yeah, kind of. I don't. For some, yeah, Riku's right. This is the knack of this gen now. It's like become a joke. You know. Nice.
To be
So-
fair,
What's the
it was
game
made
get a 90 on Metacritic?
Can you imagine?
It actually was made by the same guys that made Octodad.
Octodad, yeah.
That's why it has that weird quirk.
It's already going to be weird.
It's yeah, Octodad. I played that, reviewed that for DualShock. That's a weird fucking game. All right. After that, we had Vader Immortal, which is a Star Wars VR game. By the way, are we still like going? Oh my god! Like you could battle people in first person with a lightsaber. Like that's still a selling point to games. Really?
I don't know. They think it is.
You know what I'm saying? Like every single time they come up with a every time they have VR, oh, it's just a Star Wars game. You could battle Jedi battles in first person. I'm like, that's still a selling point. 2020, really? Whatever. Next we had it was stupid. We have a Control DLC. It's called Awe, I believe.
It's an Alan Wake DLC.
That's pretty cool.
That's what AW whatever is. It's the abbreviation for Alan Wake.
Oh, okay.
So that's why that's a big deal.
That is actually a big deal. I didn't realize that.
Because they actually do show Alan Wake at the end of the trailer too.
Here's the problem. Since I never
Yeah.
played Alan Wake, I didn't realize that. I was like, okay, some random dude.
Oh shit! You know I didn't realize if you look at the logo when they show the expansion, Alan Wake is standing. It's a shot of the woods, and he's shining the flashlight at you.
Oh shit, that's cool.
He's in the logo, yeah.
That's actually a pretty big deal.
So
fun.
I mean, this could be the idea, because the one thing
That's
about
right.
Control
Look at that shit.
is it's sort of you can, if you wanted to, you can actually throw both of Remedy's previous games into that world, and it would still sort of fit.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Sort of was it?
Go ahead,
no,
Brian.
they actually do like reference it in the game. It's
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the case files. Is like they mentioned that there's like a writer that went in the woods to like try and find his wife. So it's like
Mhm.
they don't mention him by name, but they reference it to the point where it's like it must be Alan Wake since there's nothing else that makes sense.
Yeah.
They
Like
also-
it's pretty obvious what it is. Yeah.
They also recently got the rights to Alan Wake. Maybe a few years ago they got a thing, but they were never able to. You know, fans have been asking for a third, an Alan Wake game or a second Alan.
Second,
Wake Alan Wake game. So
That's
this
cool.
could be a lot of that stuff. So
Yeah. By the way, full disclosure, out of everything they showed during this conference, this is the only thing that got my attention. I'm like, oh, Control, because I like Control. Everything else is just like, I don't know what the fuck.
for
this
me,
is.
it was like that. It was that, and it was that game that got the one that has all the was it something must die or whatever.
Yeah. Whatever it was called. All right. So, yeah.
Aeon must die, and those were the only two things in there that I was just like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then somebody on Twitter like let me know, like, well, I did, first I saw the weird shit on their site, and then the guy on Twitter was like, hey, yeah, hate to burst your bubble, but those guys are fucked up.
Damn. I think that's what David Gilton, and shout out to David, he referenced him because I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? I guess he was talking about that. All right, after that we had Carlos's favorite game, Auto Chess.
Yeah,
Carlos,
I don't
yeah.
know what the hell the game's about. I just saw your message on Discord because, man, during that time of the conference, I was already dozing off. I was
Yeah.
still at work, and I'm like, yeah. And then I just saw your message like, "Yo, Carlos Auto Chess," and I'm like, what?
Yeah, they got a chess game coming PlayStation. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, chess is a big thing now on Twitch.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yo, Carlos, why don't you start
Have
a
you ever made
Twitch chat? Switch channel. To win chess.
I retired 10 years ago.
Oh shit.
Oh.
No,
Have they ever made a 3D chess table, digital one?
Have they ever made a 3D chess
Like
table?
a game that does a 3D chess table. Like there's that physical one that you can buy. The 3-dimensional, has 3 tiers.
What, the
Whatever
Star
that's-
Trek chess? You mean? Like that
Is
has?
that what it's called?
Yeah,
I
well,
just
that's
remember
where
seeing
3D
it.
chess came from. It came from Star
All right,
Trek.
so then I just remember seeing it in stores. And I think Amazon had it for a while. It was like a board game, and I was wondering if they ever made a video game version of that.
Yeah. All right.
I-
So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I didn't know.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we had this other game called The Pedestrian. I literally forgot what it was about. Like,
I was thinking it was like the successor to Echo Chrome when I first saw it.
that's
but then
right.
I-
Yeah. That's what I thought too. Yeah.
I did find that one mildly interesting too, because it was like, oh, okay, so you're in a 3D environment, but you're also controlling this 2D element that kind of jumps, that platforms on this thing.
Yeah. Kind of cool. We had this other game called Hood Outlaws and Legends. It's a
Is that
PS5
Battle
game.
Royale for Robin Hood?
I have no idea. Look at
That's all I could think of when I saw it. I was like, is this like medieval Battle Royale and it's like Robin Hood people?
Maybe. I don't know. It didn't
I
look
don't know.
interesting
Yeah.
to me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Then we had this other game. Speaking about Nintendo rip-off games, Temtem. It's fucking Pokemon.
Okay.
Here's the thing about Temtem. I've actually been hearing really, really good things about Temtem. Certain things that Temtem does that they find very unique from a gameplay standpoint to the monster battling genre. I might be just a little bit interested in Temtem. I am an OG Pokemon fan, but I kind of fell off after Diamond and Pearl. So it's cool that they got
Diamonds and
You know,
pearls.
I messaged Carlos right when I saw that. I'm like, oh, there it is. It's the Pokemon killer right there.
I think Temtem has been on Switch already and all of this, which is funny. When it was on Switch, I don't remember the Pokemon fans.
Nobody said shit.
Yeah, I don't remember them being mad that it was a Pokemon clone or how dare they or all of this stuff. They welcomed it and enjoyed it. Maybe because it was a Switch exclusive during that time. Who the fuck knows? But it's coming to PS4.
All right. Go ahead.
It was on Steam, so maybe that's what you're talking about.
Probably.
I can't find anything that being on Switch. It just seems like again.
Okay,
I
yeah,
definitely know that it was on Steam
yeah,
because I seen pop up. But
yeah, I know it was on something that wasn't PlayStation. So yeah, maybe it was Steam. My bad. Thank you for the correction.
No, Brian, he keeps us in check about those Steam games, bro.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because that's all these mini things are. It's just like, hey, we took a bunch of PC games and put them on your console.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, well done.
Brian, how many of these were on Steam originally?
Pretty much a lot of them.
Really? Damn.
Like all these things are just like, hey, Brian, there's this PC game coming out on consoles. It's like, Jesus Christ, why do I bother with this? So yeah, Temtem was already on Switch. The Aeon thing, the Breath of the Wild like clone thingamajig, the beta was already on PC.
Genshin Impact, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like the beta's on last year, so it's like, So yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
By the way, are we going to reach the last game?
Yeah, we're ready there. Godfall. That's the last game.
So I swear to God, if you were to tell me that Godfall is already on PC, I would not be surprised.
It's not, as far as I know.
I'm just saying, when I see that game, it looks like a fucking PC port that we're barely getting. And
It reminds me of Siege.
It's like The Forest, remember when The Forest was announced and it's like, oh, it's going to be on PlayStation 4 and everyone thought it was like an exclusive game, but it was already on PC. Or Super Lucky's Tale.
Yeah. Anybody have anything to say about Godfall? Because again, man, I'm so tired of these looter games. I've been burnt 4 times already. So
I'm interested in it.
I know you are.
Oh, no, let me. So sorry to cut you off, Riku. I need to say this.
No,
Brett.
Yo.
So when we talk about video games, like Horizon Zero Dawn, that game is it copies off of everything, and I think it does it good. But when I see Godfall, it's like that thing is just does everything to a T. It's like a game off the what is that, off the numbers, or what's that phrase?
Yeah, by the numbers. Yeah,
by the numbers. It's like you might as well just keep the G, remove everything else, and call it generic.
Ooh.
That's just what that game looks to me, and I'm like, God, I can't get excited for this. And this is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's supposed to come around the launch window.
No, it's coming out on PC as well. It's on the Epic Game Store.
Oh, this is gonna get held back.
And isn't it also coming out on PS4 as well?
No, it says PS5.
Yeah,
it's coming out on Xbox though. I did see it on that.
Carlos, what's your point? You felt like you're building to something.
Oh,
no,
young of the Brett.
So like when you say that Horizon Zero Dawn is just by the numbers, like that's how I feel about this game. And I mean,
that's fair for you to feel that way, but what other looter shooter doesn't involve guns?
Looter Puncher?
Looter Puncher, Looter Slasher. Yeah,
in my opinion, freaking Neo is in the genre of looter slasher.
It's multiplayer like that?
I mean, it's 2-player co-op.
Oh no. Looter slashers are like usually, fairly massively, at least 16 players at a time.
Looter? I mean...
Yeah, like The Division is we're
would
talking
you consider Borderlands a looter game?
What's that?
Yeah, Borderlands.
Okay, but when we're talking about looter shooters, we're comparing it to games like Destiny, right? Like
let's not get bogged down in semantics. And we're talking about shit like Destiny and The Division, that type of shit.
That with a sword.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and that's the first time I've had. And I'll be honest, while I like shooting games, I'm fucking sick of shooting. I've been shooting people for 20 fucking years in video games. Like, it's getting fucking old. There's not any different way that you shoot somebody. It's like, I have a shotgun. I have an assault rifle. So there's so many ways you can do it. You could at least make melee fresh.
I am with Brett on this one, but you guys know I'm a Dynasty Warriors guy, so
you guys act like there aren't any games that aren't shooter. There's a shitload of games that are.
Name another game like The Division that's online with players in real time that's not a shooter.
No, I'm saying
everything since World of Warcraft has been a shooter. It took the inspiration from WoW and then turned into a shooter genre that's remained a shooter genre ever since.
No, but I'm saying there's not, like, I'm just saying in general, not just looter. I mean, the Anthem came out. That was a shooter. That was a looter shooter, and you used to like that.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of shooting. Like, that's my point. Like, there's not another. The reason I'm interested in Godfall is because there's not another game like it. And I understand a lot of it is by the numbers, but you're missing the critical point of it's not a shooter. Like, it's a looter. We're talking about looter shooters. You're missing half the term on this. It's not a shooter. So there is kind of a big difference, even though the rest of it is pretty by the numbers. Like, I loved everything about The Division, except for the fact that I had to shoot everyone. If you would have given me
Division 1?
Division 2. Or 1. Fuck 1. If you would have given me, like, a shock baton and a riot shield, I would have played that whole game melee.
I agree with that. That was one of the things I was hoping for, that they would have some kind of melee system or add that in Division 2, and they didn't do that. That would have been cool.
I mean, I wish the Division 1 wasn't a corridor shooter.
But then, okay, so then they make a game that's the Division 1 without being a corridor shooter, and you'd still turn your nose up at it? Like, that's the thing. That the part that I don't like about these games, they've now made a game where the part I don't like is taken out, and a part I do like, melee combo system, is put in. Why would I say no to that? Just because it's similar to a game that I've played in the past, in the sense that it's online in an open world with many players?
Oh, no, I'm not telling you shouldn't be excited about it. I'm just saying that's how I feel about the game.
I mean, I get it. Name the ways that it's the same. It's in an open world, it's got a progressive loot system, and it's multiplayer.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that do that. I mean, yeah, you're going to say, but none of them do them all at once. And I'm like, that doesn't really entice me, just because...
No, none of them do them with melee.
Yeah, but I mean, that just adding that one qualifier doesn't make it just appealing for me.
Okay, you show me a semi-quasi MMO melee game Period. You show me a game where I can enter a real open world with multiple of my friends. Since Diablo, I mean, Diablo's the closest thing, and you could bring 3 people into that. I'm talking about like division levels where there's 64 people on a server. So like, tell me any other game that I can do that's not a shooter.
I want to stop right now. Riku, give a shout out to Anarchy Reigns, man.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, motherfuckers don't remember Anarchy Reigns, man. By the way,
Anarchy Reigns isn't like a looting thing.
Yeah, no, it's not. But hey, Brett, you know what Anarchy Reigns was? It was an online open world beat 'em up game.
See, yeah,
and nobody gave a fuck about it.
That sucks.
Except for Riku-san 1. That was one of my favorite games of last generation.
Yeah, why do you think I loved Absolver so much?
Yeah, Brett, I was just about to say, this game, Anarchy Reigns, is Riku's Absolver.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to check out Anarchy.
The game doesn't exist anymore. You can't even play it anymore.
Oh.
I mean, if you go into last gen, you can, but if there's one game I wanted remastered, I think it was like my top 3 games I wanted remastered to this generation. Anarchy was like number 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you some gameplay of Anarchy Reigns.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this though. Yeah, Brett, you're right. Like big online looter brawlers, let's just call them that. You know, they don't exist. So I could understand the appeal. My problem is the looter part. I'm tired of that shit. I've been burned 4 times already. I'm done with this shit. The combat was never an issue for me. It's the looting thing. The whole carried on a stick. You know,
okay, well, you have 2 options, and I found this out from intensely looking at this question.
Is one of my options? Don't buy the game because that's what I'm already doing.
No, this is the inevitable power creep. So you have a power creep problem where the player is going to get more and more powerful. In a single-player narrative game, that's fine. You can achieve godhood and just wreck the world. But in a multiplayer game, you can't gain that much of an advantage over other players. Or you can, but like you can't just throw that shit around, because then you're slowly going to have to make everybody more powerful until it gets fucking ridiculous. And that's why MMOs end up with 46,000 hit points, on your character when you start off with a fucking 100. So you have 2 options. You can slowly give them better and better gear, unlocking newer tiers, and make them grind for the high-end stuff. Or you leave it all completely to chance, and you have gear be impermanent. I've seen games take both. Like, one of the reasons I love DayZ is, you get a bunch of gear, and then you die, and it fucking goes away. And that keeps the game interesting, because then you can go for that assault rifle for the 5th time and still feel the same excitement that you did the first time. That's why a sequel to a video game always takes your powers away, and everything that you achieved last game. I mean, you never have your power set from the end of the last game. And that's because they need to bring you back down. So you either have to deal with a progressively carrot on a stick, like incrementally better armor and weapons for everybody, and whoever puts in more time and effort gets them, or you have to have some way to take that away from players. And often players aren't okay with that, which is weird, because the games that I played where you do have gear that kind of is impermanent, you don't get attached to it. I'm not even talking like Legend, Breath of the Wild, or Breath of the Wild, like fragility system. I'm talking about like a lot of these survival games where you're like, cool, I forged a steel breastplate. Not a steel breastplate of Medusa's gaze, but just a fucking steel breastplate. And it gives more damage reduction than a leather chest armor, because it's fucking steel. But if you get killed, you might respawn without it, or you might have it destroyed. Like Ultima Online was one of my favorite things. Like, you could make a full set of gold plate armor and then walk out of town, and then somebody could murder you and run back into town wearing your armor, and you'd respawn in town naked, being like, dude, what the fuck? And be like, go fuck yourself, or catch me outside town. Like, I liked having these things taken away, because I don't like, just like you, the inevitable power creep. But if you don't want that, you have to accept or be willing to give something up.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm just not going to play the game, period. That's my solution. Because again, I'm not disagreeing with anything you said. I understand you do have to just parse things out a little bit, because you don't want people becoming OP. I don't want to deal with that bullshit, so I'm just not going to play.
You don't like multiplayer, though, so
yeah, I don't give a fuck. That's for me. Don't give a shit. Anybody else want to say anything about Godfall?
Yes, I've been trying to say something.
Oh damn, Riku, we're getting all fucking hostile, man.
Whoa.
Fuck is that?
No. It's like let me let everybody get their thoughts on, because everyone seems a little feisty when it comes to the Godfall. So I'm gonna wait my turn. And Tony acts, and now Riku-san one has the floor.
Oh
so
shit!
When it comes to Godfall, like what I said earlier when I was joking on Bug Snacks calling it the neck of next generation. When I saw Godfall, to be honest, it looks like the Warframe of next generation. Even from like a vibe standpoint.
We called it El Generico.
Oh, you got Brian's attention right now, bro.
Hey, what I'm saying is that when it comes to what intrigued me about Warframe, it's the same thing that intrigues me about Godfall. And when it comes to that type of carrot on the stick type of thing that Warframe had going on, which is good, they did it well. They did it phenomenally. I feel that Godfall is going down that same path. I'm interested in Godfall. I like, you know me, I like my melee type things, and I'm with Brett in regards to the whole shooting thing. I'm personally burnt out. I never even really was a shooter person. I only got into shooters because last generation, PS3 and whatnot. If you ain't playing shooters, man, last gen, you ain't really not gonna have a good, that good of a time. There was a lot of them, so I got into shooters, but I wasn't really ever about shooters prior to the PS3 gen. So seeing a game like Godfall, I appreciate it, especially if there's a high chance that, when the PlayStation 5 comes out and we're done playing our little launch games, that you got two options, man. You can either go back to your backlog on PlayStation 4, since they did say that, it is backwards compatible, or you could play games like Godfall, which are going to be there day one and probably going to have a, what they announced today in Godfall was that, did they say, I could have swore, maybe I'm thinking of a different game, but I could have swore they said there weren't going to be any microtransactions in Godfall. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, correct. That is correct. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That is what they say, but then, to be fair, GT Sports said the same thing, and then they did. So I don't trust the developers anymore.
True. That is true. We take it with a grain of salt. But when it comes to that type of game, they usually have a decent amount of content to go off of. We'll see where it goes in regards to its future. But I'm interested in Godfall. But I will only play Godfall after I'm done with whatever PlayStation 5 launch games that I have.
Exactly, it's a filler game. Not necessarily a filler game, but it's a game where you kick it and talk with your homies. Like, Riku, I'm gonna be in a chat group and we're just gonna be like running around just murdering shit in Godfall. Like, I don't know, what do you want to do? I'm just gonna go kill a bunch of shit. I'm gonna go bicycle kick somebody in the face. Like it's what I'm doing in Ghost right now. Just running around killing shit. Why? Kill time. I'm having fun. I like murder.
Are you gonna get a PS5 because of it, Brett?
Because Godfall? No, I'm not saying it's a fucking system seller. But I will say it does weigh in my decision of whether or not I'm getting a PS5, because honestly, it seems like there's nothing to play, and the only thing I'm going to have to play is fucking Godfall. The reason I'm going to have to buy a PlayStation is because y'all are in the ecosystem, and I don't want to be isolated in a little boat off by myself, so I'm kind of held hostage by my social connection.
I've been trying to play some games with Brett, man. So it'd be cool if I see Brett slide up in some damn Godfall. So, yeah. See you there.
Fuck yeah.
Cool. All right.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna post the Anarchy Reigns thing in the.
Yeah, go ahead. All right. In the last little bit of PlayStation news before we move on to Xbox. So DualShock 4 controllers will work with select PlayStation 4 games, but they will not work with PlayStation 5 games. Pretty interesting. So if you have a bunch of peripherals and stuff, some of that shit may not be working.
Okay, do you really have to say that last generation's peripherals won't work with the new generation? Is that weird?
Hey, people were asking, man, so they had to make a whole blog post.
What?
Then
what generation?
But Brett, keep in mind that this includes stuff like probably headsets. Well, they said that the PlayStation headset was included in that. Yeah, headsets, arcade sticks, all of that.
Wait, so
VR as well.
Even though that they are all USB based, which is the really confusing thing.
Yeah, that does confuse me. And a lot of microphone has a 3.5 millimeter jack in it, doesn't it?
I have no idea, actually.
I think it just has a regular fucking headphone jack. No, I know for a fact it does. Like
so you mean
PS3
Like the
or
gold-
sorry, the PS4 or the PS5?
The PS4.
Yeah, PS4 does.
So I don't know. Yes, that seems weird that some things won't go, but like your headset, yeah, that would be weird. And if they did that, that would mean that they were basically doing a closed ecosystem like Apple bullshit. Like this has to have the special PS4 or PS5 adapter. And fuck that noise. That
That's
shit would
weird.
piss me
So
right
would the
off.
gold wireless not work?
Nope.
But isn't it
that's
just
crazy.
Bluetooth?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know what?
that's
You know what?
Bluetooth
You know
connected
what?
with a
Let me actually
Oh,
break
no.
it down. Let me actually break
I
it
can
down
break it down
because
even better than you, Tony. Trust me. Like
Whoa.
I'm just reading. No,
No,
I'm reading the
no,
shit
no.
from the fucking PlayStation, bro.
I
You
can
know,
tell
and
you
he's saying that we can
exactly
break
what
it
the
down
bullshit
better
is.
than that.
I'm like,
I
okay,
can
you can
tell
break it down
exactly
better than
what the
Play.
bullshit is.
I'm reading it exactly off PlayStation because you guys are asking a lot of shit that's literally already here. All right, so the first question is which existing PS4 peripherals and / accessories will work on PS5? Specialty peripherals such as officially licensed racing wheels, arcade sticks, and flight sticks will work with PS5 games and supported PS4 games. The platinum and gold wireless headsets, as well as third-party headsets that connect via USB port or audio jack, will work on PS5. The headset companion app is not compatible with PS5. The DualShock 4 wireless controller and PlayStation officially licensed third-party gamepad controllers will work with the supported PS4 games. Both the PS Move motion controllers and the PlayStation VR aim controller will work with supported PSVR games on PS5. So there you go.
Okay, well, yeah, that sounds pretty fucking standard then.
Yeah, just a quick thing. Will DualShock 4 work with PS5 games? No, we believe that PS5 games should take advantage of the new capabilities and features we're bringing to the platform, including the features of the DualSense wireless controller. And the last question here is the PlayStation camera for PS4 compatible with PS5? Yes, PlayStation camera will work with PS5 for playing supported PSVR games. It will require a PlayStation camera adapter. Oh, there you go, Brett. That will be provided at no additional cost. Okay, to PSVR owners. More details, blah, 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 blah. So there you go.
Nice. Okay. I mean, that sounds pretty standard. I don't know why people are weirded out about that.
Yeah, no one's
I'll tell
weirded
you
out.
why people are.
I think that
I'll tell you
what
why.
they find
I'll
weird
tell
is
you
just
why.
that
Hold on,
the
Adam
DualShock
first, and then
4
you, Riku. Go ahead, Adam.
I think
Let
the
me
issue was
add
because
something.
there was a bunch of issues going on when the PS3 controller with that not fully working on the PS4, and they were like, there was people bitching about it. So they said, all right, well, hopefully going forward we won't have that issue, and it looks like we're still having that issue because there was a shitload of PS4 controllers this generation, some really cool ones, custom ones, and it kind of sucks that you just can't use that unless you're playing your old PS4 games. That it won't even at least work for some of the games, sport games. Do you really need to feel those special vibrations and the touch and all that shit? Come on now.
Dude, you can't use the Duke on the current gen.
But that's a Duke. That was what I was talking about. First gen to second gen. The 360 controller still worked on Xbox One.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, Brian, you go first, and then Riku.
Okay, so I've actually had a long time to think about this, and yeah, it is pretty much. The conclusion is that Sony have had to purposely put in code to make sure that the DualShock 4 will not work with PS5 games. And this is based on the idea that, okay, first of all, they have confirmed that the DualShock 4 works with PS4 games on the PS5. That's been confirmed, right? Now, it doesn't make much sense that nothing else on the PS5 will work without the DualShock 4, meaning that it makes sense that if you have DualShock 4 hooked up to your PS5, you should be able to interact with the system, right? So go to the settings and all sorts. That makes sense, or else that just makes things even worse. So if you have a controller that's able to work with the system and select few games, they've had to put in codes specifically on the OS level to restrict that controller for PS5 games. So they've gone out of the way to make it not compatible.
I don't know about that. I
No,
think that's. Here's the thing, because if there are PlayStation 5 games that make use of whatever DualSense features are there, then the PS4 game.
DualSense features?
Who knows? But that's what they said.
And that's the problem.
No,
Like,
but
they-
Brian,
they're
my
not
point
specifying
is you're
anything.
saying that they did this specifically. We don't know that. I don't want to just throw that kind of shit out there. Understand? That's speculation at this point.
Okay.
You know.
If the DualShock 4 controller works with PS4 games running on the PS5, it must mean that the DualShock 4 must work with the PS5 OS on like an OS level.
Yes, I
right?
agree with that.
Which
Fine.
means that it has some sort of access through the OS into the game, because that's how the OS works. Again, Chris and Carlos can back me up on that. So yeah, so meaning that they've had to specifically tell the OS that if it detects that it's launching a PS5 game and the input is a DualShock 4, do not make it work.
Okay, you know what? I see what you're saying.
That's not automatic.
Yeah, no. You're right. But here's the thing: it should do that because there may be features that the DualShock 4 would not be able to implement on the PlayStation 5 game. Understand? Because you need a DualSense to get those features out. Again, I don't know what those features are. Sony just said there are special features and stuff. So you're right; they do have to manually block that. I agree with that. But there's a reason why. Understand?
And then what if the game has What if the game has 0 DualSense features and is still being disabled?
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
That's bullshit?
No, not really. That's just the way it is. You know?
I actually agree with Tony.
Hey, here's a controller that you can use that you already have that can be used as a second controller.
But again, listen, hold on. If you're buying a PlayStation 5, it's gonna come with a DualSense already. What the fuck do you need your old controller for? You know,
as a second controller.
Buy another one. You know, there you go.
Buy another one if you already have one. Like,
who doesn't buy another controller? Come on, Brian.
If you already have one, do you buy another one?
Yes.
If you already have
yes, of course, because you want it for your new system.
If you already have a controller that works, would you just go out and buy like another one
if I have one that half worked and didn't support the features of the new system? Yes, I'd go out and buy a new one.
Exactly. You know.
It's the same reason I don't buy a PS4 controller without Rumble.
Well, I think
third-party ones.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could see where Brian's coming from because it does seem it doesn't, like, from a business sense it makes sense for them to lock the PS5 games to support the controller. But from Brian's point, like from a consumer standpoint, it's like, well, I would save myself $60 if you just let my controller work with this game, or if it's 2-player. Let's say, Super Street Fighter 5 or whatever, because Capcom always does that shit. Or Ultra Street Fighter 5, PS5 exclusive. Only can use a PS5 controller with that game. But it's like, I play Street Fighter 5 right now with the DualShock 4. You're not gonna put any DualSense bullshit in there. So let me just give my buddy the DualShock 4, connect, and we'll play Street Fighter. So in that kind of logic, I could see both sides of it. But I will back up Brian's point that they are. It's on purpose, and it's on purpose because, like, of course they want you to buy the DualSense,
But Chris, that's only one point though. The other point is some games will not work with the PS4 controller.
No, some of course, yeah. Well, those games absolutely. You could go, hey, we have these DualSense features, and we can't make this work. So it's like,
I think it's fair to say that the DualSense features will not work with the PS4. There's still everything else. Again, it still has analog sticks, still has the triggers, still has the buttons, still has the 6 axis, still has the touchpad. So like 80% of it will still work. It's just like, oh, you can't feel the sand when you walk on the sand. Like, is that really a big deal? Like, can't they just not have it?
I don't think so.
No,
if it's a big deal or not, it's irrelevant. That's a feature that you can't replicate with the PS4.
A big deal.
No, Brett, I'm saying it's irrelevant. Like, maybe it is a big deal, but the point is that's a feature you can't replicate with a DualShock 4. Therefore, you need a DualSense. Understand?
But
it should be optional.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, how should be? Hold on, Brett. I'm sorry. So you just gotta. I'm sorry, Brett. You're gonna go next. Adam. Okay. Dude, when I bought a PS4, I wasn't mad that my PS3 controllers didn't work. I wasn't mad that you know what I'm saying? When you buy a new system, you buy new controllers. That's how it is.
We're brainwashed to do that, but we
brainwashed. What the? That's the way it's always been. You want to use your controllers.
Not have to be that way. You don't do that on a PC.
That makes no fun. Then you're gonna hold games back because you can't put new features on the controller. Then that's what you want.
Just like we have different settings. Same thing. Just be like, hey, controller settings. What are you using?
Go ahead, Brett. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Brett.
Okay, developers develop for the floor, not the ceiling. Anytime you come out with something that doesn't have to be done, developers are lazy assholes who want to fucking save money, and that feature ends up getting dissolved. And if that's a hardware feature, eventually it gets fucking retired. Why do you think, other than the fact that it was kind of stupid, the touchpad never really caught on? Because you didn't have the option. You had the option to not use it. Most games decided to kind of not use it. And because it was cross generation, so they designed it for the PS3 and then gave it the bump for the PS4 and didn't really do anything except throw in half-baked features for the touchpad when they actually could have really used it for some pretty cool ideas. If you give people a bottom floor to develop against, they're going to do it. That's why I'm so pissed that Xbox games. Hold on, I'm not done.
Well,
let Brett finish. Let Brett finish. Let Brett finish. Come on.
That's why I'm pissed off that Xbox is releasing all of their supposedly all of their games on will still be available and playable on Xbox One, because now they're going to develop for Xbox One. If they took this feature, or if they let this feature be optional, nobody would fucking develop for it. One of Sony's big sticking points on one of their only advances of the system, other than making it shinier, is the controller, right? So if you just let the developers not develop for that fucking controller, they're not going to, and whoop, there goes Sony's big fucking lead, or whatever you have, their big advantage. There's a reason for this, and it will hold back games, not because people won't buy them or will buy them, but because people will fucking buy them regardless of whether or not that little extra hardware feature is there. And Sony wants to really highlight it, so they're not going to let developers get away with not doing anything with it. That's what this whole thing's about. I'm not saying I like it.
About money.
$60 fucking dollars, man. You're already dropping $400 to $500. It's another controller. Like it's cool if you want to have your PS4 controller on back for like a second player or something like that. And for some games that are probably across both systems, they'll let that happen. But really, the idea of being able to use last generation's controller this generation is the exception rather than the rule. And honestly, I'm glad they're not having it, because, like I said, I want them to develop this DualSense stuff. I want it to feel like I'm walking on sand. I don't want to feel just an enhanced rumble feature from fucking last gen. Quit building off of poor foundations. It's the shit you guys always yell about every Elder Scrolls game. Oh, it's just built on the back of something ugly and stupid and polished. That's all we're doing with video game hardware right now. We're trying to push something forward. And again, who's going to fucking do it optionally? Name one company that's just going to, other than CD Projekt Red, who's just going to spend money to give their customers just a little bit of a better experience. None, because they're fucking businesses run for profits and owned by shareholders. They don't give a shit about you.
Options. We always talk about options. We love options. We all love options. This is an option. Why not just have a damn option? You want to say, oh, well, the developers won't develop for it. Then fucking Sony could force all this shit. We've seen it before. They force certain options. Oh, you have to have share. You have to have photo mode. All this stuff. Same thing. Just have it as an option. They're taking away the option because they want to make money. They don't want you to use your shit. They want you to buy the new controller. That's all it is. And that's bullshit.
I don't have a problem with it. I agree. By the way, quickly, Brett, I agree with everything you just said. Like, you're going to be holding games back. You're going to be holding games back by doing that shit.
Whatever, but still, Microsoft's controller will have a different button that the current Gen 1 does not have, and they're still going to support your current controllers.
Yeah, and nobody's going to use that fucking button.
But
there you go.
Brett, what you're saying is based on your ideal. Even though that
what I'm saying is based off of...
No, Brett. What you're saying is like you are wanting these developers to use these features well, and that's an ideal, because we live in a world where the PS4 came out with the touchpad, and we've seen pretty much no games use it well. Even exclusive games use it well, and that's the issue. It's like we have lived through a generation where they've had a new feature on a new controller that people thought that they were going to use well and make things better, but they didn't. So hence, it was pointless. And we're going to do the same thing again next generation. And that's the thing that I'm like, hey, we've already gone through this. We're going to do it again. So why is everyone getting all on arms that, oh, you can't use the old controller, and that's a good thing? It's like, they're not going to utilize those features. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not going to use those features. We all know that.
On the touchpad?
On this generation that just went now. The PS4 touchpad.
Anything other than that?
Well, what else do you have to go on?
Well, I have the fact that the entire 360 generation they developed exactly for the underpowered system for this exact reason.
I'm talking about the controller, Brett. Like, we have an example of a PlayStation controller with a new feature that came out for that generation, which was underutilized and made pretty much pointless after the first year or so.
Exactly. Thank you for proving my point. It was underutilized because it was optional at launch, and nobody used it.
It was underutilized because they forced it on everyone. No one wanted to make it. Like, no one wanted to add stuff for it, and that's the problem. It's like,
exactly, you have to
force it, and people won't make it. Like they did. Fucking Microsoft did it with the Kinect.
PlayStation has a track record.
Remember Lair? the
Oh yeah,
layer that
the
used the
6-axis.
six-axis thing
Yeah.
magic, and everyone hated it because it was just forced in nonsense. We're
PlayStation.
doing the same thing again for the third time. But again, PS3, it was the 6-axis stuff. And now we've gone through the touchpad, and next it'll be the DualSense hot and cold nonsense. It's just the same thing repeating, and I don't know why no one wants to see this.
The hot and cold stuff is a hip hop.
That's a hip hop gamer thing.
What else is it?
But
The rumble, which is like, oh, it rumbles slightly differently. It's either like it's variable rumble. What else is there?
Microsoft had that on theirs. Remember that special rumble system, and that
The adaptive triggers are input only. Like they won't really make that much of a difference, and I'm pretty sure that most people won't even care because what developers will find is that, again, the Joe Blow consumer will just pull the thing like it's any other thing, and hence they'll be like, oh, so what's the point of making it if no one that plays the game actually cares about these features? And then
like that HD Rumble that Nintendo has.
PlayStation.
Yeah, like, you can like rumble your
use...
controller, and it sounds like a glass in a cup thing. How many games have you seen do that? None. Again, this is the thing this is why I'm so confused as to why everyone's like, oh, they won't utilize the features. It's like developers won't utilize the features. So hence, you're essentially saying that you're happy for them to omit this perfectly good controller, which for the most part can actually work. And by Sony's standards themselves have proven that it's worked because it works for PS4 games, and have it not work for PS5 games simply because it won't have the DualSense, like 2-3 small features that for the most part won't change the game.
I mean,
and that's the thing I'm
confused
confused about.
Buying a shitty pair of headphones, man. Like, yeah, you can get the base experience, but you're gonna lose out in certain notes and certain.
The DualShock's not a third party. It's a very good.
It's a first party. Like,
but again, you're buying a new system. You get new controllers. That's the way it's always been. Now it's suddenly a problem.
If you, we just talked about a 4-player game, right? We're talking about.
Then buy Adam. You know how many PS4 controllers I own?
Wait. But listen. Yeah, you own. Listen. Hear this. Let's say you get a sport game, right? You get this NBA game that comes out, right? It supports 4 players. You want to play with your buddies. You just got this new system. You only have one controller. Maybe you bought a second one. No one runs out and buys 4 fucking controllers.
No, you have your boys bring their controllers over. Remember we used to do that? Yeah, you have your boys bring their controllers over. There you go. Problem solved.
But they don't have it. If they don't have
it, you know what? That's the fucking problem then. You know?
Hey, Adam.
You're the first player in your group.
Adam. I bought extra Wii controllers when I got the Wii. I bought a total of 4 pairs, up to some as
I don't know anybody that buys 4. In fact,
I do.
You're the only
I own like 6 DualShock 4 controllers, bro.
No, we're talking about the Switch ones. He just said with the Switch.
Oh no, the Wii.
Yeah.
The Wii.
Yeah, I had the one I got when it launched, and I've got 2 extra pairs, I want to say, so I can break down into a 4-player game. And I have an extra set in case I get the drift problem. So I actually, when I was buying games that I realized were 4-player games like Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, I accounted for the fact that I might have other players playing with me and bought that amount of controllers. Or you have your friends bring their controllers.
Yeah, we lost somebody.
Manny.
I was like, what the fuck? Oh, there he is. He's back.
So from my perspective,
yeah,
I'm kind of in the middle. I'm probably more leaning towards Brian, and maybe, I don't know, Chris, are you part of this faction?
Oh well, I agreed with. I was seeing both arguments. I understand where Tony's coming from. I was agreeing with Brian in that he's right that they have to purposely, at the OS level, tell the DualShock 4 not to work with the game, so that they are doing that on purpose. But I agree with the reason. Like, I mean, from a business reason, I said that makes sense. You know. I'm not saying is it morally right or ethically right? What's to say? Because I mean, look at that. Nobody complained that you can use a Genesis controller with the Saturn, and they both had 9-pin connector.
Thank you.
It's just that's
why
just
are the third party ones working then? Why are the fight sticks working?
Well,
why are the racing wheels working?
For some games.
Here's my thing. It's like I understand why the business decision. I understand, but I don't understand why they can just make it compatible and only work for the games that it can work on. If there's a new game like Godfall or Miles Morales that has certain features that only work on a DualSense, then that's pretty fine. If you don't have a DualSense, then you can't play the game.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, and I'm with you. But if you want to have, if the compatibility, the interface to have your DualShock 4 with the PlayStation 5 is not, they already have the drivers for that shit. They have everything so you can use it for whatever, like just in case maybe you just can afford the console video game and that's it. It's like, man, I want to play with my little brother. He want to play freaking Miles Morales. I don't know, maybe he has multiplayer. I don't know, but we can't afford another controller until friggin' Christmas. Well, just try the DualShock. You can go by then.
All right, Carlos, let me ask you a question. Do you think games that are developed for both systems are as good as exclusives?
Depends on the game. I mean, there's a lot of games that are better than exclusives. There's a lot of exclusives that are better. I mean,
in general. Would you not say exclusives are of a higher caliber and quality?
Yes, because they know what hardware they're using, so they can utilize it to
take advantage of that hardware instead of having to program for multiple hardware possibilities, which they don't take the time to do.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this, Brett. And no, it doesn't work here. It's like, yeah, if
they already have it, it's already there. It's nothing new.
No, okay, no. What Brett's gonna say is that having compatibility with the DualShock 4 is gonna hold back the features of the DualSense.
No. Okay, here I wasn't done. The reason you see these racing wheels and these other things that are still going to be compatible is because the people who developed the game took the time to write the code to make that compatible. Right? Like, I don't.
And that's third party. So you're telling me that they do a better job than first party in compatibility? That's why. Come on.
Does every arcade game have fight stick compatibility?
Pretty much, yeah. You could use it. In fact, I can use my fight stick to play non-fighting games. I use my Guitar Hero guitar on my Xbox One to play fucking Gears.
Yeah. Anyway, does anybody have anything new to add to this? I want to move on already.
Yes.
I mean, I could understand both sides of this thing, and I it's the same sort of thing. They want you. The plain and simple is they just want you to get the new one. That's about it, you know.
Yeah, Riku, go ahead, man.
Okay. I think the only reason people are mad about it this generation, you know, in comparison to every generation, this hasn't really been the case unless you want to look at some Nintendo controllers like the GameCube, you know, which they don't want to let die. But the only difference this time is that Xbox is allowing people to use their Xbox One controllers on the Xbox Series X. So
wasn't that news released after this was announced? Because I didn't see it until after.
No, it wasn't. It was. They said it, but not a lot of people. They didn't really touch upon it, but they reminded people that you could do it. Kind of like when
Xbox was being mad petty about that, because the thing is they already announced that their old controllers would work with Xbox Series X, but after Sony made this announcement, Xbox said, "Oh, by the way, remember, guys,
I think people just assume that they would work. People just don't. They would work. Why wouldn't it work? I thought we were past that. We're already
but that's what Xbox is doing. Sony ain't doing that. You know, Sony ain't doing that.
Didn't Sony do the same thing when they announced that you couldn't? When Xbox had the idea that you couldn't have you couldn't share the used games.
Oh yeah, every company does that.
I was just about to say that.
Every company does that. You know.
And did you call them petty for that? Because I don't know.
They were petty. They were petty as fuck. But hey, it works. You know, just like I give Xbox props for this. You know. Listen, hey, they got something on PlayStation to some fans. So that, you know, even though it's petty, I give them props for that. That's a smart business move. You know. Go ahead, Riku.
I'm sorry, my train of thought.
You were talking about how people are mad about this because Xbox is allowing their old controllers to be used on their new system.
Yeah, it was. I think people, when it comes to that, people were, they see that they can do it on Xbox, so they were expecting Sony to quote unquote get with the times and allow them to do it as well. And when Sony was like, "Stop
being fucking cheap. Just buy another controller." End of discussion.
It's not just being cheap. It's okay to get one or two, but when we're talking about launch for 4, that's crazy talk.
Who's gonna buy 4 controllers on launch?
What games are launching with 4 players?
game. We were talking about the basketball. That was the example I gave. If I just got the new console and I got 2 controllers, I'd never buy 4 at launch. If I just get 2, and then I had some people come over and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna hang out."
Who's gonna come over during the Rona, man? Come on, son.
You know what I'm talking? Then what? Then why?
God, it's fucking bullshit. Who the fuck's coming over your house right now?
You said, Tony, you said you have a shitload of these controllers.
Yeah,
said,
I didn't buy them from the people. I bought them for myself.
But not at launch. This is what I'm saying. At launch,
actually, I did have 3 controllers by launch, though. To be honest,
a lot of people that do have it, right? Or if they have their system, they only have 2 controllers. They'll buy 1 and 2 for another person. They don't have 4.
Okay.
So those sports games are available at launch, right?
If a buddy comes over, we still don't know all the games that are available for launch.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're arguing about a game that may or may not exist and may or may not have 4-player.
I'm talking about basketball games. All the sport games always have.
Yeah, but you're saying you're not going to buy 4 controllers at launch when these games. We don't even know these games are going to.
No one's going to do that. You're going to. Here's the thing. You're going to get. Just Chris, real quick. You're going to get one controller regardless, and you're probably going to buy another one. So you're going to have 2 no matter what.
Buy another one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what the fuck's the problem?
No, because we were talking about 4. We weren't talking.
That's hypothetical shit, though, man. Come on,
Adam.
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
Go
who's
ahead.
playing any game like that in local co-op?
They don't exist.
If we play Division, I'm not like, hey, I'm coming over.
You can't even do that.
You were talking about how everything has gone online. He was like, I remember when we could play all these 4 players together. So then that's when it came up. I didn't say I was going to do it because I told you I don't do that.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, if you're playing with your buddies online, they're going to have PlayStation 5s with the DualSense control that comes with the system. So it's not even a problem, you know?
So we're just talking about people in a house.
Yeah, so you have 4 people just come into your house right now?
So if, let's say, they couldn't get one. Let's say there was a shortage. We've seen that with the PS3, remember? There was a shortage for the controllers for a little while, right? So if it's those situations, then obviously you couldn't use a PS2, whatever. And that's
It'll be like old consoles, too fucking bad, you know?
If there was a shortage and you didn't get, all you can get was the one that came with your console, and you're just going to have to suck it up for a while.
Yeah, just suck it up. Listen, we've had to deal with this every console generation. Why is this new all of a sudden?
Adam,
why do you accept it?
Because that's the way it is. Why are you buying new hardware to play on old shit? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
That's the way it should be.
No, but that's the it should be that way.
Okay,
Otherwise, what the hell?
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Adam, your point seems to be that who wants to drop all of this money at launch?
No,
and I get that. It's
not even my point. That's not my point. That's not about it. My point is, why should I have to? It's not, I need to. It's why. If I have all these other controllers laying around now, because I have like 5 or 6.
Brett just explained why. Because you don't want to play old fucking hardware to slow down your fucking current shit. That's going to hold it back.
Controller.
It still matters. Hold on. Adam, do you think that rumble in a controller doesn't matter? It has been one of the biggest fucking selling points and leap forward in technology of new generations for the life of the last 20 years.
Hold on, and Brett, I'm gonna. No. Brett, I'm gonna amplify what you said. You know the reason why a lot of games are the same fucking way? Because controllers haven't changed in 20 fucking years. That's why. You know,
dude. Adam, no, you can't. Okay. The N64 Rumble Pack fucking changed the game. When PlayStation put Rumble in their things, it changed the fucking game.
All right, you know what? This is getting nowhere. Adam doesn't want to hear anymore. Yeah, he's just trolling. All right, let's move on. This is getting stupid. I'm getting fucking pissed off.
Because you got a PC. Sorry. I thought you were a PC.
I got everything, motherfucker. Get out of here with that. You know?
Done.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. This is getting stupid right now. All right. Let's talk about Xbox, man. Carlos, this is the one you want to talk about specifically, man. There are no changes coming to Xbox Live Gold. All right. So basically, what was going on is people were speculating, and it looked like it was going to happen that Xbox Live Gold will be going for free. Xbox came out, or Microsoft came out and said, nope, nothing's changing. You're still going to have to pay for this shit. So, Carlos, why don't you start us off?
Ain't happening.
Yeah, I mean, it makes absolute sense to me, and I know a lot of people are disappointed, especially a lot of Microsoft fans, because they're like, we're not going to pay for. Apparently, Xbox, especially Xbox, their minds change. They're like fluidly with the way they change with their mindsets every second about what Xbox should be doing. Before they were like, look at how many Xbox Live Gold subscribers we have. They kept talking about numbers. Now it's like, Xbox Live Gold should be free because we want to be like PC because Game Pass is on PC and you get to play the games online for free. So now they announced this thing and people are pissed. And for me, it's like, it makes absolute sense because they have millions upon millions upon millions of people subscribed to Xbox Live Gold. A lot of those people, kind of like me, are people that are just recurring monthly people who don't hardly play the Xbox, who are just guaranteed money for them, cash in the bank. So they're and that's why they're doing the whole, hey, you have this Xbox Live Gold subscription, pay $1 for just to transfer your account to Game Pass. They want everyone to go from Xbox Live Gold to Game Pass and have those recurring payments all the time for Game Pass users for $10 or $15 a month. But they can't do that right now because they don't have significant amount of numbers for Game Pass as compared to Xbox Live Gold. Xbox Live Gold, I forgot the numbers. There's like tens of millions of people subscribed to Xbox Live Gold. So that's just if they kill Xbox Live Gold.
I remember there was like that 90
Yeah,
million.
it was a huge ass fucking number. So if they kill the Xbox Live Gold, they lose up on so much money because it's not guaranteed that not even 10% of those people would go to Game Pass right away. So they'd be shooting themselves in the foot, losing that whole revenue stream because they're not making money off of Game Pass right now. So it's there, and I understand why they're not doing it. It just makes finance.
Ultimate. I mean, people need to. They keep forgetting that you're paying. If you have Ultimate, you're already getting it. It's in there. It's included.
Yeah, but that's what they're trying to do. Like people, they're trying to say, hey guys, you have Xbox Live Gold and you have it for 2 more years. Just pay $1 and we'll put you a Game Pass Ultimate for that time. They want everyone to be on Game Pass. That's what they're trying to do. Game Pass, yeah. But as it stands right now, with the number of subscribers they have right now, they can't kill Gold because Gold is what's making them the most money.
Yeah, what is it, 90 million versus 10 million? Yeah, they're not killing Gold.
Not killing. Make that money.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add to that? Pretty straightforward. By the way, I did have some stories about Project xCloud in here, but since we're kind of running a little bit late, we're gonna skip all that shit. I want to get to financials already. Chris, man, hit us with some facts. Basically, we have Sony and Nintendo financials, and Microsoft. Chris will tell you more.
Yeah, I wanted to. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, this is insane. All right, let me get this up on screen here.
Right.
You guys can see the nice graphics that Chris has done for you guys. Chris, yeah, there you go. Thank you. All right, perfect.
So
just F11 that shit so people don't see all your porn up there. All right, there you go.
All right. So, Nintendo did pretty well this quarter compared to last quarter. Let me just get to their net sales. Okay. So right here you could see, and I'll explain for everybody, just listen audio only. Nintendo has made this quarter about, it says 358.1 billion yen, which converts to roughly 3.39 billion US dollars. And that's up 108.1% over last year. And they've attributed a lot of it to digital sales, their system sales doing well, a lot of software sales. Now we're in a unique kind of time right now because entertainment overall has been seeing an uptick because of coronavirus. So you have a lot of people stuck at home. A lot of people are need outlets, so they are buying, especially digital sales. So when I get to the digital sales, I'll show you that has kind of exploded for them. But yeah, they've had a very good quarter, a very good start to their fiscal year, and they attributed that to not only digital sales, but oddly enough, Animal Crossing this quarter has sold over 10 million units.
Damn.
So and it's crazy. So, let me go down to the sales figures here. Well, I should have highlighted this. Okay, so it says for this quarter, sales of the entire Nintendo Switch family, that's hardware, rose 166.6% year over year to 5.68 million units. So that means Switch and Switch Lite overall this quarter they sold 5.68 million units, and they break it down 3.6 2.05 million units of the Switch and 2.62 million units of Switch Lite. And they said regarding Animal Crossing New Horizon, which was released last fiscal year, contributed greatly to overall growth in sales and posted sales of 10.63 million units this quarter for a cumulative sales total of 22.4 million units. So I believe that puts Animal Crossing as the second best-selling game on the Switch right now, behind Mario Kart.
Damn.
They also said that Xenoblade Definitive Edition sold 1.32 million. Clubhouse games just came out. I'd already sold 1 million units. So yeah, they've seen a lot of sales this year. But funny enough, they didn't change their projection. They project overall that their overall fiscal year profits will not be as good as the last fiscal report I did. So this quarter, even though it is doing extremely well, they didn't change their projection. So I find that very interesting. And I think that they're expecting a disappointing holiday. And that could be due to supply shortages, because they do kind of contextualize that in this report, saying that, right, due to the Rona, there's supply shortages for the Switch, so they have low production volume, which means they have low shipping volume, and there's going to be shortages. So that's how they're painting it. But overall, I think then, even with what you have in the market, if you had a lot of strong titles coming out for the holiday, and you saw sales like this, like whatever Animal Crossing did, like a Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever, then I wouldn't think you'd be too worried about hardware shortages, because you still have strong software sales. So I find that kind of interesting. They
that's
did not.
crazy.
They're still predicting a fiscal year that is under last year. They said Ring Fit Adventure did well. It also, because it has physical hardware that you need for the game, it's underselling because there's supply shortages. Their digital sales exploded. So right here, you can see last year for Q1, digital sales was 30.6 billion yen. For this quarter, it's 101 billion yen.
God damn.
Which is about 960 million US dollars. That's up 230% over last year. And again, I'll say again, people are craving entertainment. They want stuff to do. And actually, there was an uptick in even Switch Online subscriptions. So the digital sales have done well this quarter. They said there was a lot of sales of the Pokemon Shield. What is it called? Expansion Pass. Here it is. Add-on content. Uptick in indie sales overall. So yeah, Nintendo is doing pretty well. Their mobile sales are around the same. They're up 32%, but like we said before, they're tapping out of the mobile market overall. So they didn't really say much about this. I don't think they really care at this point. So that's pretty much it. And let me have the other.
Yeah, what I found interesting was the fact that Nintendo's doing so well right now, but they still don't think they're going to make a lot of profit during the holidays. That's very interesting. Well, at least as much as last year,
Yeah. So if they're underperforming, that must mean there's they know the hardware's lagging. They've already addressed that. So what is it? But they haven't talked about the software. We haven't had a direct. They haven't said shit about what is coming out for the holidays, and I just find that very interesting. It's like either you're not going to have some strong titles ready for the holidays, or you're expecting low sales. I don't know what it is. And of course, while I have this information, I'm lacking key information which people are waiting on. It's like, where's that direct that talks about Breath of the Wild and all these other things that you promised? And it hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
You mean that Mini didn't have all that shit, Chris?
No. Yeah. So on this page, they have a nice little sales counter for hardware and software total. So we care about the Switch. Switch overall hardware right now, 61.44 million units
God damn.
worldwide.
Yo, Chris, man, how many do you think Xbox One has sold in comparison, bro? Shit.
Man, I don't think Xbox One has broke 40 million
I don't think so either.
lifetime. Yeah.
God
So
damn.
yeah, I mean Switch has blown past it, you know. So yeah, Nintendo do it pretty well.
Holy shit.
So
Whoa. 3DS, look at those numbers. Jesus. 75 million, 75.87 million for 3DS.
yeah,
Fuck.
but the current sales now for 3DS has slowed down significantly.
Yeah. Look
And
at
I
the Wii
think
U.
by the end of the
Yeah.
Wii U is pathetic, yeah, in comparison. Like so so pretty good numbers for Nintendo, but and then okay, so this is what they have a nice little chart for their top sellers.
Yeah.
So they say Mario Kart 8. I did not know this. 26.74 million units of Mario Kart 8 sold, and Animal Crossing now is taking second place above Smash Brothers at 22.4 million. Smash Brothers almost at 20 million, and Breath of the Wild at 18.6. Pokemon Sword and Shield right behind it.
Yeah.
So and then it drops off after that, but you got Mario Odyssey, and so yeah, so overall it's pretty good, but I don't. I'm personally concerned about holiday, and then so when I do this talk again in December, yeah, when the next quarter ends, where are we? So yeah,
Yeah, we're in August
should
right
end.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we talk about Q2, and then we'll see. But I mean, if they don't say anything by October, if they're still not saying anything, I would be very concerned
All right, just keep an eye
about
on
what's
that.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's move on to Sony.
Sony, let's go.
All right. So the segment, I always look at when I do the financials. I'll end up summarizing you guys all of Sony's segments because Sony's a big corporation, not just PlayStation. But since it's quarterly, you skip all this stuff. I'm only looking. You notice it's the first segment.
Of course, that's a big money
PlayStation.
maker. Yeah.
Yes, PlayStation is not only the big money maker. It is trouncing every other segment. So if you add up, and just real fast, I do this. If you add up Sony Music, Sony Pictures, and their other electronics outside of PlayStation, it's just above just PlayStation by itself.
Wow.
Right? So that's huge, right? That's how much of a moneymaker PlayStation and all the network services involved with PlayStation is. Right now, it's $606.1 billion yen in earnings. That's 5.74 billion US dollars this quarter. And just to put that in context, so that part of Sony, so with that much sales, and so with all the fanboy screaming and stuff like, "Oh, Nintendo's doing so great," and Sony's like, Sony's old news. It's like, yes, PlayStation 4 sales are dropping, but consider this: that I just told you Nintendo's numbers at 3.39 billion for the entire company. That's their net sales for this quarter. For PlayStation, and net sales is 5.74 billion, and that's with the PlayStation 4 declining in sales.
Damn.
That's just to show that with PlayStation Plus, digital sales and their titles, they're selling pretty good. So PlayStation have a very good quarter, and it's actually better than last quarter. Last year, year over year, it's 150% improvement over Q1 in 2019.
Insane. And this is on a year the console's about to essentially retire.
Yes, we're at the end of the generation. Yeah,
Wow.
so that's very good, and Sony attributed this to strong PlayStation Plus subscriptions. They credited Last of Us 2, and they also credited Ghost of Tsushima.
Wow, the game just came out like a month ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the first slide with sales and operating revenue, they say they had a significant increase in game and network services. That's what PlayStation, and their financial services. But they said they had a decrease in pictures electronics and imaging and music sales segments. Now that's not far-fetched. I mean, nobody's going to the movies. Most
Mhm.
of the Sony Pictures projects are on hold or furloughed because they can't film
Yeah.
anything. So much shit's on lockdown. So Sony Pictures it's not doing badly, right? But it's oddly enough, the sales of their movies are doing very well, and an odd twist because they've had everything furloughed and on halt. They're not spending any money on productions, so they've actually
Mhm.
done okay this quarter compared to last quarter. They're actually making about the same money.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that's pretty crazy, right? So
Companies,
that
the WWE had the same thing because they didn't have to do all the touring, and so
right,
they
right.
saved
So
them.
they save money
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they actually recorded a profit during all this.
Yeah, so so they are so oddly enough, so I talked about Nintendo's forecasting they're not going to make as much money in this fiscal year as last year. Sony, on the other hand, is a complete opposite. They are predicting a 522% increase in net sales come the end of their fiscal year
Shit.
in 2020, and of course it's due to like they're projecting big things for PS5, big things coming out towards the end of the generation PS4, and a lot more subscriptions. So I'll go into their breakdown here. This is pretty much the last slide for just PlayStation. So they said 32% significant increase in sales, significant increase in game software sales, significant increase in sales for PlayStation Plus, but an impact from the decrease in PS4 hardware. But overall, is they had made more money. And then for their forecast, they said they're predicting sales on roughly around 522.4 billion yen, which is about almost 5 billion USD, and then again attributed to significant increase in hardware sales due to PlayStation 5 launch and significant increase in game sales. So they're predicting a very good year. As a matter of fact, a better year than the last year.
Yeah, and Chris, real quick, do you think this also kind of ties into the report that we talked about a couple weeks ago, where apparently they're going to start producing more PlayStation 5 consoles than they originally were supposed to? You think that they're getting ready for those big sales or whatever?
Yeah, I do think so. I there. So wait, say that again.
Okay,
Sorry.
so basically, okay, you know how we talked about how there's a report how PlayStation is gonna actually produce more PlayStation 5 consoles than we originally thought of, right? So do you
Right.
think like they're like, okay, since we're gonna be producing more consoles, we're gonna be making more money. So do you think, their projections have anything to do with that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Their projection was based for, I don't think they changed it in this report, but their projection was based on having a PS5 shortage in the
Yeah.
first place. So while they're being a little conservative with it, they still think that their hardware sales will be tremendous. So much so that they think that they don't have enough product to put in the market when it
Mm.
launches. Still, even with them ramping it up, they still think they won't have enough product.
Wow.
You know,
So
see,
that
I hear him going back and forth. I hear him, they're not going to have enough product, and then I hear statements from the president saying they will have PlayStation 5s on every shelf in every store. You will not have to worry about shortages at all. Like
Did they say
it
that, by the
seems,
way? Did they say that?
yeah, yeah, the president did, yes.
All right.
I'm just rapid. I'm so confused, and I told you before when they were talking about shortages, I was like, no, they won't. This is a marketing scheme. I can't help but feel like that's what it is. Like, oh, I mean, we're gonna have enough for everybody to get one, so you can get one, but there's not gonna be that many of them, so you should make sure to get one. Like, it's a mixed message that basically says you definitely need to go out and get a PlayStation, but we'll have one for you when you get there.
well, I mean, it's tough when you're on that end of the business at when he has to tell consumers that type of stuff on the marketing level. You can't create a tickle me air mole scenario and be like, well, we're only going to have 5 at KB Toy Store, so you better be the first to get it, or some kind of crazy shit like that. He has to say that that there'll be enough for everybody, and not to create a panic. Like, you don't want to create a rush on the product and have uh people going in the store buying 20 and then flipping them on eBay or things like that. You don't want to create that kind of scenario, so you have to couch that message and say, oh no, you'll be able to get plenty, we're not going to have shortages and whatever. And then in the back end, on the in the production line, you're trying to make that happen, but he has to say that just to not create a panic, right? What would be the reality of that? I don't know. There'll probably be a little bit of an availability issue, especially since I just told you Nintendo already couched it and said they're having shortages and production problems. I don't see how Sony can have completely avoid that unless they've opened up secret plants somewhere that we don't know about. But
do you think part of it might be that, like, I don't think that I'm a fortune teller or anything like that, but after this giant Corona thing, the demand for in-home entertainment has skyrocketed, and that we're still going to be in that phase when the PlayStation 5 launches. And honestly, even well after that, we may live in a world that's changed a little bit. You access a lot of it from your home, and it's our culture, and our American culture is very much like that. There are other cultures that are a little bit more plugged in than us, but so I don't think it's unreasonable for them to say, hey, with all this Corona bullshit, I think we're going to sell more PlayStations, because as soon as Corona hit, Switches ran out first, and then PlayStations not long after.
Yeah.
But also, we're in a recession, so it's up in the air on that, depending on the market.
Well, my buddy Morgan just needed to replace his PlayStation because his old one finally died on him, and he couldn't find one. He had to finally order one from online because he drove around to 6 stores in the local area and everybody was sold out.
I think even in a recession mindset, people are prioritizing entertainment or ways to access it. Like, yeah, I mean, if you're just going to watch video, you could opt to buy like a Roku or something. But I think for most for gamers, like, you're going to make a decision on a system. You may only be able to get one, and you have to decide if it's a Series X, or if you don't have a Switch, if you're investing in it, or if you do, it's like, oh, maybe I get the PlayStation. So there will be those people prioritizing that decision, just because, like what Brett said, the scenario we're in is not normal.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see, but it's gonna be it's just interesting how Nintendo's kind of like, we don't think we're gonna make as much money, and Sony's like, yeah, we're gonna make more fucking money.
Oh yeah, they make all the money.
Do you think it has to do with the fact that Sony is launching a system, and yes, there are a lot of people going to be the launch and the demand kind of coincide, so I can see them making more money. I wonder if Nintendo's projections are based on their ability to actually manufacture units, because they've been having trouble putting units on shelves, which means lower sales numbers no matter how you cut it. They're not selling as many because they can't get as many.
I think they think that with the new consoles coming out for Xbox and Microsoft, that people are just going to opt to get one of those instead. I'm like, shit, I want to get one of these next-gen ones.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really Nintendo could do about it, like, unless you move your manufacturing somewhere else. Like, everything is in China right now. They have a chaotic stuff going on, so I don't know, like, what Nintendo could do. They obviously don't have their production lines anywhere else, unless they maybe open some in Japan, but Japan has their own lockdown shit going on. Unless you move it to Mexico, I don't know. But they're all have the same pipelines. They all use Foxconn. They're all relying on them. And even, like, I'm seeing the same shit. Apple said, hey, the iPad and the iPhone 12 are delayed because of production shortages. They're all having the same problem, because it's all coming from the same place, and we're all suffering from Rona. So, and so they
screens, isn't it? And I think that's important to note. I think most of the shortages come from the ability to manufacture the screens, because cell phones use them, tablets use them. I remember that was a production issue for like the Oculus or whatever. Like the screens and shit like that, super expensive and difficult to manufacture, especially with the shortage of materials. But the other components, if I'm correct, aren't necessarily as rare. So it's actually easier to
manufacture a PlayStation than it is a Switch, because Nintendo even had to switch screens to get because they couldn't get the materials to keep making the original launch screens.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough for screens, but with PlayStation they have a unique issue where they have to manufacture custom SSDs, and all that SSD material requires rare earths, which mostly come from China. So they're still very much relying on them and their production pipeline, which is short-handed right now because of Rona. So everybody's suffering from the same thing: battery manufacturing, screen, like you said, screen manufacturing, and also storage. Making those SSDs is going to be difficult.
Yeah, I think Nintendo's just accepted the fact that they're not able to make as many, and they're not going to make as much. I don't think that's just a sole fact. I think that they've just kind of been like, yeah, what can we do? We can't change manufacturing. We just have to wait this out. We can only produce 50% of our original capacity. They're going to sell out. If we made more, they would sell out, but we can't make more. That's just kind of the way that it is.
And also, I would think if Nintendo was smart, like I would just keep the shortage message going and stockpile systems. Like, all right, so I'm actually saying this. They're probably doing artificial scarcity so that they can push more product out during the holiday. So they kind of say, okay, we got 20 pallets from China, but we're only shipping out 12. I'm going to hold on to 8 and we're going to keep them here. And then every month you have this stockpile of pallets, and it's like, okay, for the holiday we're going to increase the pipeline to ship because holiday we see increased hardware sales, right? So they may be doing that. And that's just a theory. I don't know that for sure. I would say if I was them, I would do that. I would say, hey, we're having shortages. You can see that, but I'm actually getting a good amount of product in, but I'm only shipping out so much because I know my best time to push hardware is around the holidays. But but the Switch has been in production for over 3 years, so that it's a different story for PS5 and Series X because those fabs just got made this year, and so they're just making product from zero on, and haven't shipped any yet, so they have to see how much product they get from China before they can start divvying up what's going where to what region and whatnot.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to Microsoft's financials. Oh wait, there might be a little problem with this one.
Oh my God! So I putting together Sony's and Nintendo's was easy, and I like that. Actually, Nintendo's gotten better about they make their own graphs and stuff, so I can read the stuff easier, and I can put together numbers and make my calculations. This shit. You see this Excel sheet here, and for the people on Audio Boom, you can't see this, but I am looking at Excel, and I have the most convoluted fucking set of sheets I have ever seen in my life for Microsoft's quarterly financials. I cannot make heads or tails of this. There's all sorts of categories in here. And when I go to the segments are productivity and business products, intelligent cloud, and more personal computing. I do not know what any of that refers to. Like, it's crazy. It's like, where the hell is Xbox in there? Where the hell's anything in there?
Wow.
What is personal computing office? But what's productivity and business? I don't understand this. And this sheet is literally repeated on their website. If you go to the website and tab through their investor relations, you get the same shit. I just went, let me get the sheet so I get everything. And every sheet is like this. It is like a convoluted mishmash of stuff, and it's like it's just about the global company in general, and I don't care about that. I'm just trying to give you Xbox information and I can't get it. This is even worse than when I did their fiscal year report.
I here's one thing I find interesting about these Xbox or Microsoft reports when we're trying to find Xbox. It gets exponentially more difficult every time, and now we've got to a point where it's impossible. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
By the way, for you guys listening on whatever podcast app of your choice, we are literally looking at a spreadsheet right now. I'm not exaggerating. This is a spreadsheet. This is a fucking Google Docs spreadsheet. This is insane.
Yeah. So I mean, they didn't even label this thing. At least if they said this is Office, Azure, and Windows. No, productivity and business processes. What the hell is that?
I don't even know, man. If you don't know, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to give you. I went through all this today, and I'm like, I can't make heads or tails of this shit. So I have no Xbox numbers for you. Maybe if I if I write them a nice letter, maybe somebody will explain
Yeah.
it to me. But I don't fucking know.
Yeah, so yeah, don't give Chris any shit. He tried. Microsoft failed him. Simple as that,
Yeah.
man. All right, Chris, as always, man, thank you for the financial reports. The fans were loving it in the chat. You already know, man. So when's the
Yeah.
next one expected? December, you said?
Yeah, that should be the end of the second quarter, and it'll be nice and juicy because we will see PS5, we'll see Series X, and we'll see what Nintendo had in store and how it fared.
Cool. All right, so there you go, people. So that's what's going on there. And
Yeah.
the last story. Oh shit, I'm the only one on camera right now. Ain't that about a bitch?
Yo, man, what's up with that?
Did I close? Oh, we're still good. Yo, I thought I fucked something up here. Okay, so yeah, the last story to finish off the show is Take-Two took back what they said about $70 for NBA 2K21. The game will cost $60 now for the next gen version. So I guess people didn't like that. Even though from my end, I saw people were just like ready to accept it, which is kind of interesting. But so it looks like because the thing is, like we said, if this is successful, it's going to get the ball rolling. There's going to be other people, other companies jumping on board. So it looks like they won't be set the precedent. So we don't really have to worry about that for now, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, you know what I say about it? It's like good because to be honest with you, that's not a next gen game.
No.
It's a fucking just another NBA 2K game, and they had the nerve to start off with next gen pricing. It's like motherfuckers, this is not a next gen game. This is some bullshit. And if Take Two had released like Mafia 4 or whatever, and it was built completely for next gen or whatever, and they said, okay, this is $70. Look at all the features or whatever. We're fully utilizing Unreal 5, and look at those crazy shit ray tracing, bitch. Okay, all right, I can understand that, but a little more sweat on a guy in a basketball game. No, I'm not paying for that.
Yeah. Hey, yo, Riku, still there, bro? Oh, I think he's sleeping.
Playing his Vita.
He's playing on his Vita. I wanted to get his take on solid $70 games, but I guess we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
Can you
hear me?
Yeah, there you are, Riku. Yeah, Riku. Obviously it's been debunked now, but would you have been willing to pay $70 for next gen games? Like, would you have been okay with that idea?
I think it depends on the games that I really care about. Like, them Trails of Cold Steel games, hell yeah, motherfucker! I'm paying $70 day one. But I mean, like, if it's across every single next gen game, then it's like there's not. Let's be real. There's not a lot of games that are even worth $60 this gen, or even last gen. So it's like paying $70 for it now, debatable. So like obviously for the games that I care about, I think that goes for saying for any of us here, if our favorite franchise or one of our favorite franchises of all time was releasing a game and this game is going to be fire, probably would pay $70. But would you pay $70 for every single next gen game? Probably not. So yeah, that's where I stand with that. Would I have been on board with it? I mean, the industry kind of has, like, I remember you saying this on a previous episode, the industry has kind of been long overdue for a price up, for $70, because then it would be going back to the old days of what prices used to be. It's kind of been stagnant, but the fact that it will still be 60 next gen, it is what it is. How these companies are gonna make their money anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even though games are $60 even now, they're actually more than that. If you factor in DLCs, add-ons,
season pass,
all this, and the average game is about $120 right now. Which is which is about what $70 used to be back in the fucking 90s.
I think the thing is also is that even if games went to 70 next gen, let's say if every next gen AAA game was $70.
AAA.
I got that. You know how people are when it comes to that. Like, they're just gonna wait until the thing drops, because in a couple of months these games drop in price significantly. Like, a $60 game now, unless it's a fucking Nintendo game.
I was about to say that.
Ain't gonna be $60 in like 3 to 4 months from now. It's gonna drop to 40, then 20, then you're gonna see a PlayStation Plus or a Humble Bundle sale, and then it's gonna be free on PlayStation Plus. Well, I mean, free if you consider PlayStation Plus free, but you get my point,
Yeah.
So even if it was 70, unless it's a game you really care about, you most likely aren't even gonna be paying $70 for the game anyway. Like if it's a game you kind of cared about and for a fact you're not going to pay $70 for it, you're just going to do what the fuck you did this generation. You're just going to wait for it to drop, So that's basically what it would have been if it was 70 anyway.
And I'm just going to say this right now: if you're an Xbox guy, you got Xbox Game Pass, you don't got to worry about that shit. Your games are free basically. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's cool, man. All right, let's start wrapping up. Again, just like top of shows, a bunch of shit we got to run down. So we got the road to 300 people. Throwdown and Throwdown your questions will hit episode 300 September 3rd and September 6th respectively, and we will be having a contest, a big one. I'm gonna stump you guys, man. I'm gonna stump the shit out of you. Can't wait. But if you beat the trial of Tony, you will get a free game of your choice for whatever platform you want, just so long as it's not a special edition, any of that nonsense. We will also be having a very special guest join us, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm not going to repeat all that what I said at the top, but it's somebody we've had on the show once before, and who you see me talk to on Twitter every day, and I've been on his podcast many times this year, so it's going to be cool, Also,
you're not leaving anything to imagination.
I'm really not. I'm making it very blatant without blatantly saying it. Over on the audio side, we are over now on Audio Boom, which also means we are like on 12 different podcast things, or maybe even more at this point. We're expanding. We're like like an octopus. We're getting our tendrils everywhere. Expanding Throwdown. And it's working out pretty well so far. Really good stuff. And as you've seen, we're already changing the titles, the cue cards, all this stuff. It's gonna be good. One thing is, and I'm gonna keep hammering this home until the end of August, right? This whole thing illustrates how few people actually listen to us on SoundCloud. I'm not going to give the number away, but it's less than 10 people. Everybody was listening to us through SoundCloud, through the RSS feed on whatever player they want, right? So because of that, since it doesn't really make sense for us to upload to SoundCloud, we're going to stop doing that after episode 300. So if you are a SoundCloud listener, first of all, thank you for listening to us. Really appreciate that. But we would ask you to please migrate over to another podcast host. We're not going to tell you go here or that, the other, but there's a million other places you can go to. Go to throwdown.com. And by the way, I love saying go to throwdown.com. That's fucking awesome. So yeah, go to throwdown. Yeah,
Is it throwdown.com or is it?
Yeah, throwdownshow.com. Excuse me.
Throwdownshow.com.
Throwdownshow.com, and that's literally our audio boom. And there's going to be links to a shit ton of podcast hosts. We're on everything. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on a bunch of stuff. So just please migrate over. You're going to have a month. But for the month of August, you're fine. Don't worry about that. But after August, no more SoundCloud. SoundCloud is still going to be up there, obviously, for the old episodes and all that. The archive, that's never going to go away. But after that, we're just going to be strictly on all these other platforms, And
shout out, do the third to you. He's one of those 10 people that uses SoundCloud.
Yeah, do the third. There you go.
Yeah, hopefully you're able to to use another means to listen to the show when on demand. But yeah, SoundCloud. I was talking to Tony earlier, and it's like it doesn't make things easier.
No.
To get the episodes into the player.
No, it really doesn't. And the thing is, SoundCloud actually doesn't have a dedicated podcast section. All these other places, they specifically have places for podcasts. SoundCloud doesn't, because it's not really made for that. And I've looked at some of the numbers. Nobody listens to podcasts on, SoundCloud. And now we're talking about our personal experience. Yeah, that is actually true. But it served our purpose for all these years, so that's a good thing. You gotta start some place to get somewhere else. But again, everything will be fine on that end until the end of the month. But please go to throwdownshow.com and find a podcast host that you like, and check us out from there. It's all going to contribute to our larger numbers. And also shout out to Danny Pena from Gamertag Radio. He's the guy that helped us put all this together. And I'm also on the latest episode of their show, episode 1077, I believe, where I'm basically interviewing Danny for like an hour and a half about Xbox Game Pass and digital games. And the whole setup was we were hanging out at Bryant Park, we're drinking, and it just became a really cool conversation about Xbox Game Pass. So please check that out. By the way, Gamertag Radio, that's your other obvious cue of who's going to be joining us on the show, episode 300. It's not Danny, it's not Pete. I'm being mad blatant about it.
Oh, come on. Now it's just not leaving anything to imagination. It's not Pete. It's not Danny.
Yeah, there's 3 guys on the show. Ooh, who could it be,
Yep, That's right. It is your boy London.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Yo, Brian, you looking forward to Cyberpunk, man? By the way, shout out to him, man. Like as soon as, because he wanted to be on the show, when Danny was on, but he was busy with all the IGN stuff. But he was like, "Yo, please let me be on Throwdown whenever you have the slot open." I'm like, "Yo, episode 300." He's like, "Let's fucking do this." I'm obviously talking about Paris Lily, people. I'm just gonna say it.
You keep the worst fucking secrets, man.
Hey, it's funny, man. Also shout out to Jordan Miner, my former editor from geek.com. We actually recorded a cool little segment, our post fucking thoughts on State of Play, for PC Mag. It was a really good segment. It was fun to talk to Jordan again. I haven't talked to Jordan in a very long time, because of this whole Rona bullshit, and that's gonna do it for us, man. So remember, there's a lot of places you could check us out, so make sure to follow us on Twitch and Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and join our Discord. You can find us on any podcast app. Just search for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words, Throwdown space show, and visit throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes, man. And links to everything are down there. That's including Twitch, Audio Boom, all that. By the way, Twitch actually upgraded the thing. All our links are in one nice little location, which makes it nice. Literally just scroll down, like if you have a mouse wheel, just scroll down. It's all right down there, right under the player, which is good stuff. Anyway, man, I want to thank you guys for...
What if I want to use the last gen mouse?
There you go.
Oh man, no, then you have to hold on the bar and scroll it down and shit, but options, right? Anyway, man, thank you for watching and listening. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you later, guys. Also, Excellence 9 is coming. On the 14th. So hopefully you pick it up.
Good stuff. Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
So apparently the only casualty in my endeavor today was the backlight of my keyboard. But everything else was fine. I think so. It's not working.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Adam Vale.
Have a good week. And remember, tomorrow we're doing the Arcade 1-Up stuff.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
It's going to be cool. Brett Murdoch.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, it has been real.
Yes. Brian Manjoma.
It's always lovely when you get a nice, hefty Throwdown episode where we all just argue.
Yes. Listen, there's a reason we're called Throwdown, man. That's what we do around here. And, of course, Mr. Riku-san 1, the only one.
Peace out, people. Peace out.
All right, people. We'll see you on Sunday. Later.
Peace in the Middle East. Peace.